All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Let's go ahead. After a long time, finally, we are done with our introduction, that is tax rates wala chapter. We are done with tax rates of all assessees as per old regime. We are done with tax rates of all assessees as per new regime. Henceforth, you solve any question in any chapter, and I'll tell you what. In this very first chapter also, there will be a question: calculate tax liability of the assessee. And that is the reason, if you compare, in CA Inter, we first finish full NTTI. After finishing NTTI, last may we do tax rates. Because you don't have idea about exemptions, deductions. So how do you teach old regime or new regime to someone? But final mein, you may not remember all of them. In any case, section numbers have changed, so you may not that way also understand. But you at least have some idea about exemptions and deductions. So it is safe to do tax rates first. In fact, knowledge of tax rate will be required in every chapter that you are going to study. समझ में आता है? And the very first chapter that we are going to, actually it is technically second chapter, because in our index, when I say 37 chapters will be in your textbook, first chapter is introduction, which contains all the tax rates. Are you correct? Hai? So technically it is the second chapter, but classroom mein you can say ke, new knowledge, something that you've not studied before. First chapter, double taxation avoidance agreement. They are very famously known as DTAA. Every time people talk about these chapters also, no, they say, कौन सा chapter किया? DTAA, double taxation avoidance agreement. But this agreement in international language is also called convention. Accordingly, we have DTAC, matlab double taxation avoidance convention. Hello. In international tax language, there is one more term. You might have come across this term in your school history textbooks. Treaty. So you can also use the short form DTAT. So you have double taxation avoidance agreement. You call it convention or you call it treaty. Agreement, convention, treaty, they all mean the same thing. They are just multiple names of the same concept, like Virat Kohli is also known as Chiku. Multiple names hai. Treaty, convention, agreement, they all mean same. Common part is what? Double taxation avoidance. Correct? In ICAI study material, this chapter ka heading that they have given is called double taxation relief. Now, every time you come across words like relief, reduction, credit, all these bhikari bhukananga words, relief, reduction, credit, it means we are going to reduce your tax. So, whatever tax you have calculated, now you know that you need to know tax rates first. You calculate that tax, and the tax that you have calculated, from that we will subtract something. So finally you have to pay a lower amount. That amount which we are subtracting, tell me one thing, if something is subtracted from your tax liability, is that a tax benefit? Is that a relief that you are getting? You have to pay that much less? It's a chapter created for tax benefit. It's a chapter from international tax. So please understand, subject ka name is not DT. It is not direct tax. It is direct tax laws and international taxation. 30 marks of your question paper will be from international tax. I'm sure you are aware of this. There are some handful, 7-8 topics in international tax. In that also, there are 3-4 chapters from which they never ask any question. If at all they ask, full paper mein they will ask one question of 2 to 4 marks maximum. That also if they ask, usually they don't. Which means there are these other 3-4 chapters which together will carry that 30 marks. There is a chapter called transfer pricing. I'm sure you must have heard at least about it. 30th November ka due date wala people. 30th November ka due date, as a due date also we have also studied it in intermediate. International tax wala assesses. Transfer pricing mein se question always comes. There is a chapter called non-resident taxation. Remember, every time you are learning a section applicable to non-resident, that means you are learning a section from international tax ke liye you don't have a separate act. In income tax act, any section applicable to non-resident That means that is syllabus of international tax. So we have a chapter non-resident taxation. Almost every attempt question comes. And if I talk about this chapter, minimum 6 to 8 marks का question. Easy question होगा तो 6 marks. More adjustments. ये थोड़ा ना, it depends on paper pattern. You are matured enough that I don't have to consume time in explaining paper pattern. Even then, if you want it, first 30 marks will be compulsory MCQs. They don't promise anything in this. पहले they used to ask 10 questions of 2 marks and 10 questions of 1 mark. मतलब 20 questions, 30 marks. Difficult वाला 2 marks, easy वाला 1 mark. And that time MCQs were easy because 1 mark में they can't keep too much of complication. It has to be straightforward. Recent exams may, if you see the past few question papers of CA final, they have changed this system. They now ask 15 questions of 2 marks. The MCQ का fixed pattern नहीं है. They can ask you 2 mark का question, 1 mark का question, 30 marks fixed है compulsory. Now comes your 70 marks. उसमें there will be 14 marks का. Why am I even doing this? 14 mark का 6 questions. सर ये तो 84 हो गया. Obviously, option. You have to solve any 5. So 14 into 5, 70, and 70 plus your 30 marks ka MCQs. Out of these 6 questions, first question of 14 marks will be on business profession. Fixed hai, it's a part of the paper pattern. Every exam fixed matlab fix. PGBP at inter for abhi to paper pattern inter mein bhi it has changed because 50-50 ho gaya. Inter mein 15 marks, final mein 14 marks. Fixed question every exam. And the remaining questions will be 5 mein se any 4. They will have subparts. मतलब question 2A, 2B, 8 plus 6, 7 plus 7, 10 plus 4. They have to make 14 marks का questions. अभी you have the brain to understand. You can't solve question 2A and 3B and complete 14 marks. One full main question you will have to leave in option. उसका सब parts you will have to leave. Usually what happens, 2A is easy and 3B is easy. मतलब there will be one subpart in every question which you will not know. But from those subparts, easy होगा तो 6 marks का and difficult होगा तो it can go up to 8. 8 plus 6 के breakup में DTAA can be a question of 8 marks also. Yeah, it can be the 6 mark का question if they ask something more difficult in that 8 mark वाला part. Together it will comprise of your 14 marks. That means fixed guaranteed weightage. You understand that you have to take it very, very seriously. It's a part of international tax and guaranteed weightage. Next, it's a very small chapter. मतलब tax rates took 4 lectures. This will get over tomorrow. Today nahi, but tomorrow it will get over. Answer easy hai ke difficult? It depends on who you learn it from. Let time tell. I will not speak anything. Let's see whether it is easy or difficult with time. Okay. We are talking about a chapter called double taxation relief. If you have paid a double tax, you will be getting some relief. This chapter is about how to calculate that relief. That means we as chartered accountants are going to reduce the tax of our client by granting our client the relief. Hello? Will anyone be happy in paying double tax? Bro, apan Marwadi. We have a problem in paying single tax. हंसता क्या है bro? Gujjus are no different. And why Marwadi Gujju? Any community. We have a problem in paying tax once. Question ही नहीं है paying double tax, out of question. By chance there is double tax. So this chapter will give us relief. So will we be interested in knowing what is that relief? Exam is one thing, real life के लिए भी. But before that, you know what? First question is this. Unless you know what is double tax, how are you going to calculate the relief? You will not even know whether the relief is applicable or not applicable unless and until you first know the meaning of double taxation. So first step is not going to be learning calculation of relief. Of course, exam ka question will be calculate the relief. Marks you will get to calculate the relief. But you can't understand the concept unless and until you first are aware of the concept of double taxation. Unless and until you know double taxation, you can't go further. Do you understand this? So we will have to first spend time in learning. Learning the meaning of double tax, for which I will do with you a concept. First time today. Technically, it is not the first time because 3 years ago most of you all have learned this. but you may not remember. And for those who are new, who have come on the reference of some of their friends, you may not have studied this concept before. This concept is the Gita, Quran, Bible, Agam, Guru Granth Sahib, Kalpasutra, whichever religion you believe in. This concept is the holy concept of international tax. Every chapter of international tax, randomly open kar, that 30 mark ka syllabus, whether chapters are asked in exam or those chapters which are not asked in exam, every chapter, this concept will come. Chapter will start with this concept, baki sab baad mein. That much is how important. Very easy concept, but every chapter of international tax, you will have to study this concept. Globally, there are two principles of levy of tax. There are, याद दिला रहा है एक दूसरे को कॉन्सेप्ट का नाम, तो थोड़ा टॉम, डोंट सिट इन द लाइन ऑफ माई लैपटॉप. ओके, हाँ बोल. नहीं, wait, let's understand. There are a lot of countries in the world which have no income tax only. They are known as tax heaven country. Heaven ना, ये जन्नत नहीं, heaven. Tax heaven countries which levy no income tax. Income tax ही नहीं. UAE, for example, Dubai में, I'm sure you are aware, there is no income tax. Recently, they have started levying Dubai VAT, 5% on all consumption-based goods or services. And they have also started corporate income tax. एक छोटा सा बुकलेट, स्कूल का स्टोरी बुक होता है ना, छोटा सा बुकलेट है. Indian chartered accountant who has learned this income tax law, if you go and settle today in Dubai, by evening you will learn the full income tax law of Dubai. Evening भी बोल रहा हूं because you will need break. Without break, afternoon में you'll get done. And moving forward, they are very smart. You make jokes on them. Al Habibi, tum tax leti, hum deti. You probably be making jokes on them, but the truth is, they have already realized that 10 years down the line, people may not consume their oil. The direction in which world is moving, vehicles, not today, but in the next 10 years, we will all probably be with EVs. Oil sales may not be like it is today. They have started developing tourism in such a man, मजाक नहीं कर रहा हूँ. Every 2 years you can go to Dubai and find new attractions. You can go to Dubai as frequently as you go to Lonavala, and it is easy for Indians. देखो, एक तो food का भी have food preference. Okay, तो एक particular food ही permitted है. We can't eat beyond that circle. वो problem दुबई में नहीं. Language is not a problem. You talk to anybody in English, they will reply in Hindi. I'm not kidding. वहां पे पूरा there is this area. वहां पे you know you're like इधर सब Indians ही है. You can throw whatever wherever you want. And see, don't get offended, but fact is that this also matters. Toilet में jet भी है. As irrelevant as it may sound, but it does matter. They are developing tourism in an insane manner. Like literally, they are requesting Indians to come and start business over there because Indians have this mentality. अरे दुबई जा रहा है, no problem. कुछ problem हुआ तो my relative is there, my friend is there. They want Indians to start businesses over there, and it is my personal experience. I'm telling you that Dubai में most businesses, shopkeepers, whether they are selling belts or purses or electronics or whether they are selling gold, people buy over there. The tours and travel company, most of them are Indian. Most of them. And without any disrespect to any caste, community, creed, country, it is, I have respect for anybody who is working hard to take care of his family. But I have observed this, that their staff, their employees are all Pakistanis. This is not disrespect, ये just observation. Observation. और ड्राइवर को पूछा, ब्रो कहां से? कराची सर. मैं चेक किया, बॉम्ब तो नहीं है. ये टेंडेंसी हो गया ब्रो, mental tendency. And they are even now requesting Indian startup owners. I don't know whether you are aware of this. Indian startup owners को Dubai की government is requesting, please come and start your businesses here. We will provide you all the support. Repatriation of money is also not a problem जो normally होता है. Some countries don't allow you to take the money back home. India is very strict when it comes to repatriation. Dubai में problem. आपका 15 CA CB if you have filled, अभी वो 145, 146 form numbers have changed. Content is same. They have changed the act, no, so they need to show कि कुछ ना कुछ change हुआ. Dubai is very very lenient when it comes to all of this. आपको समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूं? Moving forward, ये this may not be related to this chapter, but if you are wondering, sir CA करके क्या scope है? You want to settle in Dubai? See, Dubai में बहुत easy है. It is easy to, जितना time you'll take to go to Delhi और कोलकाता ना उतना time में you can come back from Dubai. अगर कुछ problem है at home. I have a long range of opportunities for you over there. They're desperately needing Indian chartered accountants because they need to implement taxation laws. They want to bring personal income tax. And nobody is better in doing this than Indian chartered accountants. Because if they have done this income tax law, they can do anything. Anything. So corporate income tax aa gaya. And very soon, it's a matter of time, Dubai may soon have personal income tax because they know their economy is going to drop if they don't have other sources of revenue. Oil may not generate revenue anymore. Tourism has a limit. Samjha kya? So there are some countries which don't have income tax. They are known as tax haven countries. It is their choice. The government does not want to levy tax. If ever they want to levy tax, they can amend the constitution and start levying income tax. Correct? Hai? But then there are some other countries which do have income tax. For example, there are some countries which have income tax. For example, in India, कौन बोला? रशिया, ठक्कर बोला, थाईलैंड, इंडिया. थैंक गॉड इंडिया में इनकम टैक्स है ब्रो. थैंक गॉड इंडिया में इनकम टैक्स है. करेक्ट है. तो ब्रो, whichever country levies income tax, they follow any one of these two principles. There is an international principle. Matlab, please understand, India is not following this. Any country which has income tax is following this. It's a global concept is what you need to know. There is a concept called principle of residence. The country which is applying the principle of residence in taxation is called the home country. And there is this concept called principle of source. And the country which is applying this concept is called the host country. When you started learning tax for the first time in your life, obviously at CA intermediate level, one of the first concepts taught to you was, you entered your classroom, mast chawal ke lote ko laat maar ke, background mein music was going on. Taxpayers will be divided into two categories, resident and non-resident. Incomes will be divided into two categories, Indian income and foreign income. And a resident will pay tax on Indian income ke foreign income, global income, both world income, because of the principle of residence, which is not being followed by only India. Any country in the world which has income tax follows this. If you are a resident of my country, I am your home country, and I will levy tax on you. Anything earned here, anything earned anywhere else, that is, I will levy tax on you on your global income. Have you studied this? Resident global income, that is principle of residence, and it is applied by the home country. Ye correct? Now let's talk about the other side. At the same time, in the same chapter, you were also taught if you are a non-resident under Indian tax law. Possible hai? We are talking in Indian context right now. किसी भी country में you can apply this concept. If you are a non-resident, do you still pay tax in that country? Non-resident. Do you still pay tax? On what? At least the income that you have earned in that country. That is called principle of source. Will a non-resident pay tax in India? On the income earned in? And that time we will call it principle of source, and India will become the host country. Have you studied this before? Resident will pay tax on global income and non-resident will pay tax on Indian income. That is the principle of residence and principle of source. Globally, there are two principles of levy of tax. Principle of residence will be applied by the home country, and principle of source will be applied by the host country. These two principles attract tax wherever there is income tax. And if we confine ourselves, restrict ourselves to Indian tax law, to suno, resident on global income. Do you understand? We are applying principle of resident. We are becoming the home country. And non-resident on Indian income. Matlab we are applying principle of source and we are becoming the host country. Does India follow these two principles? And somewhere in this, I would like to remind you, you understand this only in the Indian context, but the truth is every country having income tax is following this. India is not the only country who is doing this. Somewhere in these two principles of levy of tax, you will find hidden double taxation. Somewhere here. समझाता हूं कैसे. Example. Mr. Heath. Age 20 हुआ अभी तक. क्या बात कर रहा है यार. सीए फाइनल अटेम्प्ट May 27 में ही है, तो दोनों ग्रुप May 24 में हो गया था. May 27 एंड क्लियर हो गया. करेक्ट. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट मिस्टर हीथ हु इज, हैव यू बीन इन द करंट टैक्स ईयर या रिसेंट टाइम्स फॉरेन कंट्री में कहीं पर? नहीं. तो यू आर अ resident in India. We are talking about Indian context. Okay. By the way, for those who have forgotten, even if you have been abroad, the moment you spend 182 days, and if you, it's okay, sir. अभी नए एक्ट में क्या है? नए एक्ट में full residential status with section numbers is same. Section number भी same. Because starting में section number was not a problem, no. तो पीछे PGBP में 44 AA, AB, AD, AD, तो वो सब 62, 63, 64, 65 करके they have extended the section number. तो starting का तो section numbers are also same. Section 5 is scope of total income. Section 6 is residential status. Inside the section 182 days, 63, 65 deemed resident, everything is same. But you don't remember. अभी usually at CA final I can assume कि यार residential status तो you know whether you've been my student or anybody else's student at inter. But I will not. When we go to that non-resident taxation, क्योंकि international tax 30 marks का weightage, and in that I told you transfer pricing, non-resident taxation and DTAA का highest weightage है. 20 marks तो इसमें से ही होगा. तो I will not take a chance, even if a little fast, but residential status will also be taught to you at an appropriate time. For now, Heath is a resident. May 2027 में he will give CA final. July 2000, अभी तो जुलाई तक का भी they are not waiting. मतलब you know before June you have your result, before June end. But we are assuming 1st July. CA day के दिन you become CA. हाँ, मजा आ जाएगा ना. 1st July CA day result day, and you become a CA. Done, sorted. Goosebumps आ रहा है. Look, there is one story which you are not aware of. Heath is a good Jew. वो तुझे पता है. आगे का बता रहा हूं. आगे का बता. Because he is a good Jew, while he gave CA final exam, his family prepared to auction him. The moment you have CA का degree, your market value in the marriage market is very, very high. Your bidding will be higher. You will be sold at a higher price. So the moment your result is out, 1, 2, 3, tuck sold at this type of the hammer. Correct? Heath, if I may ask, that you have to immediately after your wedding go for a holiday. Of course, you may not be the only person who has the right to decide that, but just for my knowledge, where do you want to go? Sun, बोलना मत के सर हूं तो अहमदाबाद जाइस. You have to take an example of a foreign country. Paris is France country है. Paris कोई बात नहीं. Picnic in France. एक चीज बताता हूं Heath with experience. You are already married. जब ये पिकनिक हो रहा है तो पेरिस जाके कोई फायदा. If it was a bachelor picnic तो it was a different thing altogether. पर ठीक है, अपना अपना चॉइस. एंड वैसे भी we know that he may not get to decide that. He will just ask. But for now, picnic in France. Okay. Now then, if you can afford a foreign, मतलब euros में today conversion rate is 100. मतलब every time you go and see, अरे वाह 150 का ही चप्पल मिल रहा है. But when you see that 150 का चप्पल, it is not 150, it is 15,000 का चप्पल. मैं मजाक नहीं कर रहा हूं. That when I had decided to go to Paris, मैं सोचा था कि यार पेरिस में जाके शॉपिंग का मजा आएगा यार. आई एम अ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, आई कैन अफोर्ड एनीथिंग एंड एवरीथिंग. शॉपिंग करूंगा. तो मैं चप्पल पर टोन, मैं बोला छोड़ना, फ्लाइट में तो शूज ही पहनना है. फटा हुआ चप्पल आई पुट इन माय बैग. उधर जाके नया खरीद के आई थ्रो. नो, होटल में चप्पल चाहिएगा. आई केम बैक इन द सेम फटा हुआ चप्पल. Because not that I can't pay 50, I can pay 15, the problem वो नहीं है, but I have brains. कि last 15 years में total chappals that I have purchased together will not be of 15,000 because I wear chappals only on Sunday, Saturday भी नहीं. तो पागल नहीं है मैं. So France is very very expensive. Europe in general is very 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 expensive. You have to be very very careful, otherwise थेपला खाकरा दो बैग एक्स्ट्रा बैगेज अलाउंस इज अफोर्डेबल. समझा? तो पिकनिक इन फ्रांस वो because he is going to such an expensive country and he is a chartered accountant, we are first of all assuming that he is falling in 30% tax bracket in India. करेक्ट है? लेकिन वहां पे ना फ्रांस में एक प्रॉब्लम हुआ ही. आई टोल्ड यू ना, स्टोरी बता रहा हूं विच यू आर ऑल्सो नॉट अवेयर ऑफ. फ्रांस में एक प्रॉब्लम हुआ दैट यू आर गुज्जू, आई एम अज्यूमिंग योर वाइफ इज ऑल्सो गुज्जू, एंड डोंट गेट ऑफेंडेड प्लीज, लेकिन ये फैक्ट है कि व्हेन अ गुज्जू इज गोइंग फॉर अ पिकनिक, वो दो अट्रैक्शंस कम होगा. यू मे नॉट गो टू आईफिल टावर, दैट इज ओके, बट खाना टाइम पे होना चाहिए. ब्रेकफास्ट लंच नहीं, हाई टी भी चाहिए. एंड यू हैव दैट ईटिंग का हैबिट, यू गॉट अ सिमिलर वाइफ, उसको भी यू रियलाइज द 2 bags दैट यू हैव ब्रॉट, वो तो खत्म. द कैश दैट यू वर कैरिंग यूरोज खत्म. You had some credit cards also with you. India's digital payment system is the most advanced in the world. Any other developed country, they are still learning how to use UPI. They are not very sure of whether they will use UPI. You have to carry your credit cards everywhere. कार्ड में स्वाइप हो रहा है, इधर घर पे टेक्स्ट मैसेज आ रहा है, your account has been debited. Every time you swipe your card, you get a message. The people at home have blocked your card. कैश ओवर, कार्ड का बैलेंस ओवर, फूड ओवर, रिटर्न टिकट है, वन डे यू विल कम बैक, बट देयर आर स्टिल सम डेज रिमेनिंग एंड स्टिल अ गुज्जू नो. तो खाना तो अभी भी चाहिए. गेस व्हाट ही डिड? ही सेड कि अभी नाउ टू जनरेट इनकम देयर इज ओनली वन ऑप्शन, कि पेरिस ही सही पार्ट टाइम जॉब करना पड़ेगा फॉर अ फ्यू डेज, डेली वेज वर्कर की तरह. आई विल वर्क फॉर द फुल डे, get some money in the evening with which I will buy the food for the day. One day I will come back home in my return ticket and henceforth never go to any European country. Deख, I will give you better suggestions. I will make your entire itinerary. They are very very hostile when it comes to dealing with Indians. They will not talk also properly with you. And this picnic, remember, is immediately after your wedding. You don't want any nuisance in that. You know, it's a very happy time. समझा? 10 years later it won't be, but right now it is very happy time. तो तेरा चॉइस था यूरोपियन कंट्री जाने का. दे आर वेरी हॉस्टाइल. अभी पैसा खत्म. somehow you managed the job, and in that job, in that foreign country, you have earned. Whole story को if we put down in short, Mr. Heath, a resident in India, has income in France. वो पार्ट टाइम जॉब किया ना, डेली वेज वर्कर वाला. एग्जाम्पल है ₹100. देखो, ऑब्वियसली फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल फॉरेन कंट्री में इनकम विल नॉट बी इन रुपीज, एंड सेकेंडली इट वोंट बी ओनली 100, बिकॉज ऐसा नहीं है कि 10 days यू वर्क एंड गॉट ओनली €1. एग्जाम्पल अमाउंट ₹100 विल कन्वर्ट इट वॉट एवर यूरोस का इनकम. मिस्टर हीथ, शॉर्ट स्टोरी, मिस्टर हीथ रेसिडेंट इन इंडिया, इनकम इन, कम ऑन, रेसिडेंट इन इंडिया, इनकम इन फ्रांस. करेक्ट है? नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज अबाउट दिस इनकम. This income, is it going to be taxable? This 100 rupees is earned by Mr. Heath, a resident of India, in a country called France. The question is this income going to be taxable in India? ये पहला क्वेश्चन. Is this income taxable in India? Question है, we'll discuss. Second question, is this income taxable in France? Let's talk about them one by one. Is this income taxable in India? फ्रांस में अर्न किया है क्या? Yes. Principle of residence. Yes, it will be taxable because once you are a resident, you have to pay tax on Indian income के foreign income, global income, both. Correct है? That means, is this going to be taxable in India? Let us assume that India का tax rate is 30%. वैसे assume क्या bro? Last 4 lectures से what are we doing? And we are assuming that he can afford a picnic to Europe. मतलब falls in 30% bracket. It may be a picnic gifted by his father-in-law, अलग बात है, but we are assuming that he is falling in 30% bracket. Is this income taxable in France? Yes, soon. He has gone there only for a few days and he is a non-resident in that country. Non-resident है. Is it taxable? फ्रांस में नॉन रेसिडेंट है, इंडिया का रेसिडेंट है. Is it taxable? Why do you say so? Because of principle of source. Even if you are a non-resident, you still have to pay tax on the income that you have earned in that country. Do you understand this? उसका example है. See, don't come and correct me on this, हाँ. सर नहीं सर, मेरा तो एक फ्रांस का क्लाइंट है, फ्रांस में 40% नहीं है सर, फ्रांस में तो ओनली 25% इनकम टैक्स. पहले इंडिया का तो सीख. आई एम नॉट हियर टू टीच फ्रांस का टैक्स लॉ. इट इज एन असम्पशन. 40% है. मोस्ट डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज हैव वेरी हाई इनकम टैक्स रेट. इंडिया डेवलप नहीं है, स्टिल देयर इज वेरी हाई इनकम टैक्स. हाँ, यू शुड नो दिस. करेक्ट है. तो एग्जाम्पल है. आई ऑनेस्टली एडमिट आई डोंट नो द टैक्स रेट ऑफ France. It is an example. Don't come and correct me on this. It is strictly an example. Mr. Heath, resident in India. Income in France. Amount of income 100. On that income, India is taking tax of 30. On that same income, France is also taking tax 40. Bro, Heath is somewhere standing in the corner and wondering. वो पता है वो जेठालाल का मीम था. एक तो फॉरेन कंट्री में जाके बॉन्डेड लेबर, वो डेली वेज वर्कर की तरह यू आर वर्किंग. उसमें आफ्टर सो मच एफर्ट यू आर अर्निंग सो मच. उसमें 30 इज गॉन बिकॉज इंडियन गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड्स टैक्स. 40 इज गॉन फ्रॉम दैट सेम 100 बिकॉज फ्रांस का गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड्स टैक्स. फ्रॉम 100 यू पे 30, यू पे 40. ब्रो, व्हाट आर यू लेफ्ट विथ? कितना समर एक्चुअली सेइंग, वो नंबर बोल रहा है सर 30. मैथ्स नहीं बताना था. नथिंग इज द आंसर. एंड हित एक और बैड न्यूज ये है दैट शी मैरिड यू थिंकिंग दैट यू आर अ सीए. तो मनी विल नेवर बी अ प्रॉब्लम. इधर खाना खाने के लिए यू डोंट हैव मनी एंड आफ्टर अर्निंग 100 यू आर लेफ्ट विथ ओनली 30. व्हेन आई सेड यू आर लेफ्ट विथ नथिंग इंक्लूड्स द न्यूली मैरिड वाइफ. it is possible that she may not come back with you. हेलो, आप समझा क्या? Is this a problem? All the jokes apart, is this genuine hardship? Somewhere this global principle will create a problem, because whenever resident of one country will have income in another country, resident in one country, income in another country, the home country will levy tax because of principle of residence. The host country will also levy tax on that same income because of principle of source. And from 100, if 70 is going away, he will then preferably go for picnic to Ahmedabad only, no? And all the jokes apart, are you offended with the example? Bad mein jaye if you're offended. I did not say anything offensive till now. Okay, you don't know how much I can say. I am capable enough to eat 3-4 samarainas in breakfast. समझा? तो अभी तक तो कुछ बोला ही नहीं है ब्रो. एंड 3 दिन लेक्चर बंक करके व्हेन यू कम बैक अगेन एंड सिट ऑन द फर्स्ट बेंच, तो बी मेंटली रेडी फॉर दिस ट्रोलिंग. ओके, जो रिकॉर्डिंग देख रहे हैं ना, दे आर स्कैर्ड. आया भी तो भी फर्स्ट बेंच पे तो नहीं बैठो. सुनो, ऑल द जोक्स अपार्ट, if this continues, it will be a big hindrance to free flow of goods and services from one country to other. On one hand, we are wanting the world to become one open global market. Goods of all countries should be available in all the countries at affordable rates, and therefore when any world leader is imposing stupid duties or stupid taxes on goods of another country, he is directly a joke and subjected to abuses, because with such policies you are basically restricting trade and industry of the world. So somewhere whatever joke we may make on Heath, the point is that if I am any Indian seller, I will avoid selling in foreign countries. What's the point? इतना सारा income tax भर के, if I am left with nothing, I would rather focus on my Indian business only. क्या होगा? Earn less, but earn for yourself. Earn more and earn for the government. What sense it makes? Such high tax and again levied by both countries is genuine hardship. This is double tax. When resident of one country will earn income in another country, home country will levy tax because of principle of residence and host country will levy tax because of principle of source. This is genuine hardship. And the whole objective of this chapter, if I have to summarize this chapter, full chapter for you, whatever will happen between today and tomorrow, this chapter is all about bringing 70 to a lower number. Reducing any amount from 70, do you understand, is a relief. I'll give you some possibilities. It is possible that your home country, example mein, India, says, "Arey bapre, poor guy, double tax, don't worry, we will not take tax. You pay there." Ye ek possibility. That means 30 is gone. You pay only 40. Is the home country giving you relief? Ye ek option hai. I'm just discussing the possibilities with you. Second, host country is saying, "Arey bro, you have come from some other country. You are already in trouble. If we take so much tax from you, you will be left with nothing, not even your wife. Chhod jane de. You don't pay here, you pay tax in your home country. Matlab 30 you have to pay, 40 you don't have to. Have we given you relief?" There is a third possibility. There is a third possibility. Both India and France, are they levying normally income tax? At what rates? In our example, 30 and 40 respectively. They both are willing to make their tax rate half. But India is saying, वैसे तो our rate is 30, but because it is doubly taxed, pay only 15. 50% discount. France is also ready. Normally our tax is 40, but we are willing to give you discount. So pay only half. My question is, even if both governments are still taking tax, is your 70 still becoming 35? That is relief. These were examples. Actually क्या होगा? Home country will leave the tax, के host country will leave the tax, के both will reduce little. वो chapter will tell us. And learning that is the chapter. If I tell you what is the actual answer, chapter is only over. This chapter ka after now the objective is to reduce 70 to a lower number. Every time I speak 70 in this chapter, you need to at the side of your brain store this number. If I speak 70, which 70 I am talking about? Mr. Heath, resident of India, income in France, income ka amount 100. On that income, India is taking tax off. On that income, France is taking tax off. Accordingly, on 100, he is liable to pay total tax off, which is genuine hardship because he is left with almost nothing. And then therefore, the objective of this chapter is to bring down 70 to a lower number with possibilities that home country will waive, yeah, host country will waive, yeah, they can reduce the rate. So no, 50-50 was only an example. There are cases where India mein normal tax is 30, but if you are falling under double taxation, we will levy only 5%. Half nahi, 15 nahi, only 5%. आप समझे? 50-50 was also an example. What will exactly happen? The chapter will tell us. But do you understand what is double taxation? Everything is hidden in this box. The faster you speak, the better it is. Globally, there are two principles of levy of tax. That is, principle of residence will be applied by the home country. Principle of source will be applied by the when the same person will be taxed by the home country as well as the host country, that will result in double taxation. ये समझा everyone? What is the meaning of double taxation? Somewhere in the meaning of double taxation, we have already understood what kind of relief will come. Exact calculation of relief we are yet to start. But what is double taxation? Is that clear? Before we go to relief, we also have to learn another concept, that is types of double taxation. Meaning understood? Meaning is hidden in principle of residence and principle of source. Meaning samjha? Second concept is types of double taxation. Once we are done with the concept of double taxation, then only it will make logical sense to go and learn the calculation of relief. No? So meaning is done. Khali types karke we will go ahead. How to calculate relief. When I say how to calculate relief, the whole objective of the chapter is 70 को रिड्यूस करो विथ 70. नाउ यू नो 13 इंडिया, 14 फ्रांस. रिड्यूस दैट 70 टू अ लोअर नंबर. ये समझा? देयर इज अ फर्स्ट टाइप ऑफ डबल टैक्सेशन called juridical double taxation. Some income tax authors also write jurisdictional double taxation. Some tax authors की books में you'll find jurisdictional या juridical. You have to buy which income tax के author का book? Tom बोला ना? Which author's book? नो वन. क्यों? अच्छा, बाय बोला इसलिए यू सेड नो वन. यू हैव टू यूज. अभी बोल. यू डोंट हैव टू बाय एनीथिंग. एवरीथिंग विल बी गिवन टू यू. आई हैव ऑलरेडी एक्सप्लेन्ड एवरीथिंग इन द फर्स्ट लेक्चर इटसेल्फ. ये तेजपाल ने पक्का दूसरे किसी ऑथर का नाम लिया होगा. जितना आई नो हिम, जितना भले एकदम सॉफ्टली कान में वो ठीक है ब्रो. यू बाय इफ यू हैव एक्स्ट्रा मनी एंड कंपेयर द कंटेंट. आई विल बी वेरी हैप्पी. बिकॉज तेजपाल ये लाइन बड़ा है कि छोटा है? तो कंपेयर कर, बाय कर, कंपेयर कर. अदर्स नो नीड टू बाय. ठीक है? ठक्कर कितना भी पैसा अपने पास है ना, ये सब काम में वेस्ट नहीं करने का. ओके, पक्का है. चल, jurisdictional, some authors, juridical, एक ही बात. And there is another concept called इकोनॉमिक डबल टैक्सेशन. डबल टैक्सेशन का कॉन्सेप्ट अंडरस्टूड? क्या? प्रिंसिपल ऑफ रेसिडेंस बाय द होम कंट्री, प्रिंसिपल ऑफ सोर्स बाय द होस्ट कंट्री. 13 इंडिया, 14 फ्रांस, टुगेदर 70 का टैक्स ऑन इनकम ऑफ 100 results in genuine hardship, and that is going to be subjected to some relief. Either 30 will become 0 or 40 will become 0 or both will reduce. Total में 70 will reduce to a lower number. How to reduce? That's the chapter. Now look at the name of the chapter again, double taxation relief. But before we go to that relief, you need to know the types of double taxation. Under juridical double taxation, same income will be taxed twice. Same income पे you will have to pay tax twice. Check कर. Is the 30 and the 40 paid on the same income? Sure. Under economic double taxation, same income will be taxed twice. Juridical में same income will be taxed twice, but economic में same income. अभी आएगा डिफरेंस. आई नो सम आर वंडरिंग, एस एस ए एम 3-4 बार देख लिया. आई एम नॉट एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई एनी डिफरेंस. इट विल कम नाउ. दिस डबल टैक्स विल बी पेड बाय द same person, but here it will be two different persons, and that is the basic or fundamental difference between juridical double taxation and economic double taxation. Main difference ये है between juridical double taxation and economic double taxation, that same income tax twice, same income tax twice. But when the same person on the same income is paying tax twice, that is called juridical double taxation. But when on the same income two different people are paying tax, income is same, but we are taking tax from two people. मतलब is government getting tax twice, but not from the same person, two different people. That will be which double taxation? Economic double taxation. ऐसे मुंह बना के क्या बोल, रुको. Everything will become crystal. किसकी क्लास में बैठे हो? Everything will become crystal clear. आई गेस दिस इज नॉट डिफिकल्ट. अब जाके चेक कर 100 का इनकम था. ऑन दैट ही पेड इंडिया में एंड फ्रांस में हाउ मच टैक्स रिस्पेक्टिवली? 30 and 40. Now my first question is this same person, is this same income? When the same person on the same income is getting taxed twice, that is called juridical double taxation. The whole story of Heath, which we took as an example to understand the meaning of double taxation, was also an example of juridical double taxation. Principle of residence by one country and principle of source by another country is juridical double taxation. It is double taxation. कौन सा वाला? Juridical. So that is not a problem. Heath का पूरा story जाके check करो. Is it same person, same income getting taxed twice? So juridical double taxation, तो it is clear. वो same example. Same example. Now let's talk about that other aspect which is confusing. So if two people are paying tax, first of all, why will two people pay tax on the same income? This concept only we have never heard. If I give you an example, all the doubts will become clear. A lot of things work with the help of example. Example समझो. Example. ABC Limited, a company. This company is paying audit fees to its chartered accountant. Rupees 1 lakh. अभी तक तो any foreign country or foreign tax law is not getting attracted also. Indian company paying audit fees to Indian chartered accountant for doing Indian audit. Whether companies audit, tax audit, anything. Is this income taxable for the C? क्या stupid question I am asking? Is this income taxable? Or you are not answering because इतना stupid question कैसे पूछ सकता है? Answer the stupid question, suddenly difficult question will come. Is this income taxable? Very good. Sir, till now only one person has paid tax on this 1 lakh का income. Who is that one person who has paid tax? The CA. ये correct है? Hello. अब story में twist ये है that this 1 lakh was fully paid in cash. Does something hit you? क्या? Cash payment of more than 10,000. टैक्स ऑडिट में दिखाना पड़ता है, बस और कुछ नहीं करना. हाँ तो यू हैव टू, हाँ ये आई एम वेटिंग फॉर दिस वर्ड टैक्स. तो सीधा ऑडिटर ही बन गए. टैक्स ऑडिट में क्या दिखाना पड़ता है? दैट फॉलोइंग एक्सपेंसेस आर डिसअलाउड. टिल नाउ यू मस्ट बी शोइंग योर 43B का डिसअलावेंसेस, योर एक्सेसिव पेड टू रिलेटिव्स वाला, your personal expenses if debited, that also you must be reporting in case you are doing tax audit. It's okay, छोड़ो. Tax audit report में दिखाना पड़ता है, but that is not what I am looking forward to right now. What is the rule in income tax calculation of PGBP income? If any expenditure in excess of rupees 10,000 is paid in the disallowed mode, cash is disallowed. Allowed modes are account pay, check, account pay, draft, electronic modes. So that expense will be disallowed. एग्जैक्ट 10,000 होता तो that is the difference between learning the law and living the law, because this is CA का exam. So here they will not ask a question on 9,000 या 12,000. Their exam question will be exact 10,000. Allowed की disallowed? Allowed है. Correct है. But whenever a transporter is making payment to someone, but it is still 10,000. When someone is making payment to transporter, it is 35. याद आया? What was my question? Transporter making payment to someone, उसका 35 नहीं है, वो 10 ही है. Someone making payment to transporter, वो 35. पेमेंट टू ट्रांसपोर्टर. अरे समझा? नो प्रॉब्लम, इट्स ओके. सर पीजीबीपी नहीं है सर, अभी प्लीज ऐसा मत करो. डबल टैक्सेशन में पीजीबीपी का मत करो. पीजीबीपी इज 14 मार्क्स का चैप्टर. Advance में I am telling you that PGBP will be the last chapter that we will be doing. मतलब we will be finishing capital gain, other sources, clubbing, set of deductions. तो inter syllabus last में, उसमें we will be finishing all of this. I will also finish Black Money Act before PGBP. मतलब last and final day I will be doing. मतलब we will end our batch with PGBP का questions. क्यों सर? Because PGBP के question में there will be adjustments of total income. मतलब P&L account credit side पे there will be bank interest also, there will be rent income received. You have to remove them from PGBP, put in the respective head. ये सब adjustment you can do only when other chapters are over. Because last 3 years you forgotten everything. Anybody bunking, clubbing, set of deductions for whatever reason, PGBP में to allow or not to allow, I will decide. Because if clubbing set of deductions is too easy for you, तो PGBP भी खुद से ही मैनेज करो. समझे? मजा लेके आ बारिश का, पिकनिक पे जाके. पीजीबीपी बंक नहीं करना. क्लबिंग सेट ऑफ बंक किया तो पीजीबीपी भी फिर रिकॉर्डिंग ही देखना पड़ेगा. आई डोंट लुक स्ट्रिक्ट बट आई एम वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट. लगता नहीं हो ना? समझा? तो वी विल बी डूइंग, वैसे भी ऑल सेक्शन नंबर्स हैव बीन रीअरेंज्ड, प्रोविजंस आर मोर और लेस सेम, एंड देन देयर आर सम डिडक्शंस व्हिच वर नेवर अ पार्ट ऑफ इंटरमीडिएट का सिलेबस. एनी विच वे यू हैव टू लर्न अगेन, एंड व्हिच एवर वाज देयर वो भी यू डोंट रिमेंबर. यू देखो, चलो ना, लेट्स एक्सेप्ट दिस फैक्ट आल्सो. Okay, so what do you know about at least this much? This was very easy. This company, because of violation of cash expenditure rule, do you realize that this expense is going to be disallowed for the company? Disallowed matlab whenever an expense is debited to the P&L account, but you are not eligible for the deduction. That means what do you have to do in PGBP? Add back. Expense which is debited and disallowed has to be added back. ये याद है एडजस्टमेंट पीजीबीपी का? दिस इज टू बेसिक. इफ वी आर एडिंग बैक इन द इनकम ऑफ द कंपनी, डू यू रियलाइज दैट मींस कंपनी के नेट टैक्सेबल टोटल इनकम के अंदर भी दिस 1 लाख एग्जिस्ट्स. मतलब इज दिस 1 लाख टैक्सेबल फॉर द सीए? यस. इज दिस 1 लाख टैक्सेबल फॉर द कंपनी इन द सेंस दैट कंपनी इज नॉट गेटिंग डिडक्शन ऑफ दिस एक्सपेंस? अब चेक करो, इज दिस द same income of 1 lakh? Hello? Getting taxed twice. Same 1 lakh taxed twice. But this time, the two people having the income in their NTTI are different. CA ka NTTI and company ka NTTI. Both of them have this income in their NTTI. That is economic double taxation. So when the same person on the same income is getting taxed twice, we will call it juridical double taxation. But when different people are getting taxed, we will call it economic double taxation. Meaning समझा? हित का जो पूरा स्टोरी था, that was example of juridical double taxation. And before doubt है, before I take any doubt, let me at the outset be very very clear about this. The concept of economic double taxation is basically punishment for violation of law. Economic double taxation will only happen in cases where you have violated some provision, and therefore as a punishment you will realize that disallowance of expense is like a punishment for violating cash expenditure ka rule. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the concept of economic double taxation in this chapter is hereby over, because from this double taxation there will be no relief. Relief will come only in juridical. That is that Heath ka story, which is a genuine case. Resident in one country, income in another country. So both countries are levying tax. Bolo yes or no? Is that genuine hardship? So we will give you whatever relief we have to give you. We will give you only in cases of whatever relief we have to give you. We will give you only in cases of juridical double taxation. Economic double taxation में no relief का 2 reasons या logic. No relief is the rule. मतलब will CA pay tax on full 1 lakh without any relief, and will company have full disallowance of expense without any relief? अब मैं 2 reason दे रहा हूं. The reasons will serve as logic, and remember, logic से बड़ा कुछ नहीं. Nothing has changed over the years. Nothing is bigger than logic. Correct है? तो सुनो, reason number 1, it's a punishment. So in punishment cases, don't expect relief. First of all, you shouldn't have done cash expenditure. सोचो, तो when we are punishing you, where is the question of relief? कोई क्वेश्चन ही नहीं है. I guess that much is also good enough logic to explain why no relief. लेकिन I'll give you one more reason. One more reason. Okay. Supposingly, you are that CA. Are you paying tax on 1 lakh? Have you received that income and you're paying tax? तो तेरे को क्या प्रॉब्लम है if we are taking tax from someone else? Check your pocket. From your pocket, how much time tax has gone? Once, no. So what problem you have if we are punishing someone else? You can't expect relief because we are taking from someone else. If both the taxes go from your pocket, you have double burden. So you can expect relief. As a CA, if you are earning 1 lakh, you should not have paying tax. No problem in paying tax on 1 lakh. And soon, supposingly you are company. Why did you pay in cash? And you think just because we are taxing the CA, that means we will not punish you for cash expenditure? You deserve the punishment. समझा क्या? The reason why there will never be any relief under economic double taxation, and still there is confusion. The concept of economic double taxation hereby in this chapter is over, full stop. After now, whatever is the remaining part of the chapter, वो calculation of relief है. And if I am now teaching you calculation of relief, only juridical, whatever discussion will happen hereafter will be only with respect to juridical double taxation, because economic double taxation as a concept is khatam, tata, bye bye, goodbye, gaya. When there is no relief only, where is the question? Chapter के अंदर henceforth only relief has to be discussed, जो economic में है ही. Understood? Very quickly answer the following question. Faster you answer, better. Globally, there are two principles of levy of tax. That is principle of residence and principle of source. Home country will apply the principle of, host country will apply the principle of source. This will result in double taxation when resident of one country will have income in another country. So home country will also levy tax, host country will also levy tax. That will give rise to something called double taxation. It will give rise to genuine hardship. It will create problem in free flow of goods and services from one country to other. And that is why for such cases, we want to bring the concept of double taxation relief. Example terms में our objective in this chapter is to bring down 7070 to a lower number with multiple permutations. Home country can grant waiver, host country can grant waiver, or they can mutually reduce their rate of tax. Effectively 70 कम होगा, and if 70 is reduced, मतलब assessee has to pay less tax. So no, when you will calculate basic tax, add surcharge if applicable, add HECs if applicable. What is that amount called? Total tax liability. सुनना ध्यान से. Total tax liability. But do you take credit of TDS, TCS? Yes. Prepaid tax है ना? Do you take credit of अभी advance tax? तो you must have heard, but you may not have heard of MAT AMT credit, या सुना भी होगा तो you may not have filled in your income tax return whenever you are filing it. One of those blank spaces is relief under section 90, 90A and 91. If you have ever come across that column which you always left blank, that is basically double taxation relief. Obviously, till now you have seen only 90, 90 and 91. Even now, next few months when you will file returns in office, you will see 90, 90 and 91 only. But these are sections of Income Tax Act 1961. Yes sir, लेकिन अभी तो we don't have to. नहीं, office में all the returns that you will be filing this time will be as per the 1961 वाला act only. Hello? Next year it will be as per the new act. Either the section numbers have changed, 159, 160. Section number I will write now. Important chapter है, so section numbers you will have to obviously learn here. देखो till now if we discuss about whatever we have studied in section numbers, we haven't studied except 200, 201, 2, 3, 4. And by the way, जो old regime का tax rates है, they are not given in act का section हो, तो finance act के अंदर they have written. New regime का tax rates they have written directly in the act. अब tax rates का section है तो that much तो you will have to learn only. DTAA is an important chapter. Next chapter is, you know, that way full income tax act is new, but section numbers if you don't learn it is still okay. So sir, if you are a CA final student and your question is कि sir अभी section number exam के लिए learn करना है कि नहीं करना है, I will be giving you this chapter by chapter. This chapter very important, you have to learn as we go further in the flow. By the flow I will tell you with respect to every chapter. पूरे syllabus में which chapters you 100% learn, which chapters you try to learn, which chapters you leave, it's okay, you have my permission. I will apply the filter. उसमें extra filter you don't add. अच्छा सर ने ये 5 बोला है तो ये 5 में से ये 3 मैं कर लूँ. When I am applying the filter, मतलब इतना तो minimum you will have to do only. I am reducing your effort wherever required. ठीक है? हाँ, तो ladies and gentlemen, after you subtract that relief, then you get something called your final tax payable or refundable. Go check your income tax return का columns also. मतलब effectively whatever relief you are getting, is that going to reduce the tax that you are supposed to pay? अरे बोलो yes or no? हाँ, so ladies and gentlemen, that relief will be available only in juridical double taxation. Principle of residence, principle of source, वो clear है? Double taxation will be of two types. What two types? Juridical and economic. In both, same income will get taxed twice, same income tax twice. But what is the difference? Juridical में the two tax liabilities are going from the same person's pocket, and therefore genuine hardship, therefore relief. But economic में the two tax liabilities are going from the pocket of different people. It is in the nature of relief. Therefore, it is in the nature of punishment. Therefore, no relief. And economic double taxation का concept, therefore, full stop, खत्म. Because hereafter, happy, अभी कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर है. ईयर आफ्टर वी विल लर्न कैलकुलेशन ऑफ रिलीफ. एनी डाउट? अक्षत नहीं आया? He always hides behind the pillar and never visible. कोई डाउट है? आवाज किधर से आ रहा है? We will go and learn calculation of relief only and only for cases of, अरे JDT short form समझना, only in cases of juridical double taxation. Cases of relief only for calculation of relief only for juridical double taxation. Are you first of all clear about two types of double taxation? कौन से में you will get relief and which one you will not get relief? Logic behind not getting relief. And genuine hardship is happening only in juridical cases. Juridical double taxation will create problem for free flow of goods and services from one country to the other. Therefore, there will be relief. And we will go and learn how to calculate this relief. Relief from double taxation. Abhi se keep 70 in your mind. Hello? You know which 70 I am talking about? Tax in India rupees 30. Tax in France rupees 40. Keep full heat ka full story you have to keep in your mind so that you understand how we will grant the relief. For providing relief, there are two systems in income tax law. Income tax law can provide you something called bilateral relief, which is provided under section 159 of the new act. Old act mein this was section 90 and 90A. In case you are coming across those sections while filing returns in office, whatever was written in section 90 and 90A is merged into 159. And then there is another way of providing relief, that is called unilateral relief, which is provided under section 160. Old act में it was section 91. Why am I mentioning these sections? देखो वैसे भी these sections you won't find them relatable, क्योंकि इंटर में डबल टैक्सेशन था नहीं. तो you've not studied section 90, 90 and 91. You've not studied. आप ऑब्जर्व करोगे तो चैप्टर 6 से डिडक्शंस जो 80s का सीरीज था, that was the last thing. And after that we studied that one thing, relief under section 89, arrears of salary होता है. पास्ट का सैलरी रिसीव्ड इन करंट ईयर, तो करंट ईयर का टैक्स इंक्रीज, पास्ट का टैक्स रिड्यूस, एक्स्ट्रा टैक्स माइनस सेविंग, वो लास्ट था. बट फ्रॉम देयर ऑल टैक्स रिडक्शन स्टार्ट. रिबेट वाज आल्सो 87A ओनली, नो, दैट वाज दैट सीक्वेंस. 87A, 89, 90, 90 and 91, these are all reliefs. Current law में भी if you observe now, 156 में रिबेट इज गिवन. हेलो, तो ये सीक्वेंस ऑफ सेक्शंस में that chapter starts only with this. 154 के ऊपर chapter 6 से deductions get over. Last section जो 80U था ना, 80U has now become 154. After this whole relief वाला system start. but then we are not learning relief at one place. Rebate we studied with tax rates. DTAA का relief we will learn here. अगर MAT AMT का कुछ credit है तो we will learn in MAT AMT का chapter. So we don't have to learn section numbers in the order of income tax act. We have to learn section numbers wherever and whichever chapter they are applicable. अरे समझ में आ रहा है क्या? हाँ, तो section 159 and 160 which is basically replacement of 90, 90A and 91. You will come across 90, 90 and 91 while filing returns in office. You have ignored them for the last 2 years every time you have filed return because your clients are just like us, bhuka nanga garib. They forget about foreign incomes. There is question of them having Indian incomes. Agar foreign income hi nahi hai, there is the question of relief, which is why for foreign assets ka page also you have kept blank. But if you have foreign asset, you have to write, otherwise it will become a case of black money act. So now that you are, appearing for those big cases, your bosses are not even giving you because you don't have knowledge of black money act. You don't have knowledge of ye double taxation relief ka chapter. Moving forward as a chartered accountant, when you are working on somebody's case, you need to know applicability of all these provisions before you submit the return, because one mistake can literally cost you in future. And these idiots who are dependent upon 24 rupees mein return filing, when tax ka notice will come, lakhs of rupees will be paid to you for fighting that case. Tax litigation is very, 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 very remunerative. मजाक नहीं करो. And once you become famous in tax litigation, आपको वो याद है एडवोकेट हनीफ कुरैशी कहाँ रहते हैं? नहीं, ओ माय गॉड देखा है पार्ट 1? पहला केस ही फॉट, एवरीवन इज कमिंग, देन वो शॉपकीपर ने बोर्ड लगा दिया एडवोकेट हनीफ कुरैशी. एवरीवन विल सर्च फॉर यू, ढूंढ के कहीं ना कहीं से पीपल विल कम. स्टार्टिंग में थोड़ा सा स्ट्रगल है, बट फॉर दैट यू नीड टू हैव नॉलेज ऑफ एवरीथिंग. समझा? लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड bilateral and unilateral only for cases of juridical double taxation, because economic double taxation का concept is over, no relief. Uni and bi, both of them are basically indicative of some number. आप agree करते हो? Uni means single one and bi means two. We say bilateral series between, अभी इंडिया का कुछ चल रहा है, इंडिया इंग्लैंड चल रहा है. Is that a bilateral series के third countries involved? What do you mean by bilateral? Only two countries will be involved. When two countries are involved, we will call it bilateral, whether it is tax treaty or whether it is a cricket series. Cricket series unilateral नहीं हो सकता है, because unilateral basically means only one of the countries is involved, and obviously we will have to learn in the POV समझते of India being involved to understand the basic difference between bilateral relief and unilateral relief. Whenever both governments cooperate with each other, they sit across a table with each other on the negotiation table, and one of them is explaining the problem to the other, the problem of the story of it. Okay, if your people come to my country and both of us levy tax, tomorrow my people will come to your country and both of us will levy tax, then my people will stop coming there and your people will stop coming here. Do you understand the problem? Let us do something between your country and my country. Let us have some financial understanding between your country and my country. Lot of times you see, newspaper reports mein, you are that generation who does everything fast. वीडियो देखोगे तो 1.5x पे. इफ यू वांट टू रीड न्यूज आर्टिकल, वो पूरा का पूरा न्यूज़पेपर का न्यूज आर्टिकल यू विल नॉट रीड. वो इन शॉर्ट्स में, वो शॉर्ट में 50 वर्ड्स में, 100 वर्ड्स के अंदर अगर कोई न्यूज आर्टिकल है, यू वांट टू फिनिश इट ऑफ. कॉन्सेप्ट अगर सीखना है तो यू वोंट वॉच एनी डिटेल वीडियो, यू 30 सेकंड्स के अंदर बोल, नहीं तो स्वाइप अप करूंगा. भी जनरेशन हुई, जनरेशन का प्रॉब्लम है. इट इज नॉट प्रॉब्लम ऑफ एन इंडिविजुअल, यू और मी. जनरेशन का प्रॉब्लम है. तो यू मस्ट हैव पॉसिबली कम अक्रॉस न्यूज रिपोर्ट, इंडिया एंड यूके हैव साइंड अ फ्री ट्रेड अग्रीमेंट. क्या आपको ये पता है दैट द मोमेंट यू गेट इंडियन सीए का डिग्री, दिस इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट रिस्पेक्टेड डिग्री. कॉमर्स में वन ऑफ द नहीं, मोस्ट रिस्पेक्टेड. इफ आई कंपेयर विद ऑल द स्ट्रीम्स तो वन ऑफ द मोस्ट बोलूंगा. कॉमर्स में पास्ट प्रेजेंट फ्यूचर, देयर वाज नेवर, देयर विल नेवर बी एनीथिंग बेटर देन सी. सर मार्केटिंग कर रहे हो, सीए फाइनल के सामने मार्केटिंग. If you were class 11 students and I say this, तो marketing है, because I want to increase my admission. You are in CA final, and by the way, you are already in my class. अभी क्या मार्केटिंग करना होता, I would have done in your inter का class, in the hopes that you join my CA final. You already done. अभी क्या? You just know the respect associated. You may be knowing that of course lots and lots of money is associated. Start में नहीं, but in a few years, 3-4 years में, you just need that prefix. And मजाक नहीं कर रहा हूं. Every CA student says that I will kill my children but not let them do CA. Every CA student says this. I will kill my children but I will not let them do CA. Every CA says I will motivate my child to do CA. Because after becoming a CA, you know what is the beauty. Till the time you are sitting on that side, you won't understand the importance of, or the level once you come on this side. But are you aware of the other privileges? For example, if you want to pursue UKCMA, total 13 papers, Indian Chartered Accountant has to give only 4 papers. वो पता है? Maybe, may not be. If you are an Indian Chartered Accountant, forget a single paper. Go to Singapore right now and you can start your own CA firm. Direct practice. You can go and practice in Australia and New Zealand. I am not 100% sure, but अभी तक जो बोला I am sure. But if I am not wrong, ICAI also has a tie-up with American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. They call it AICPA. The degree is called CPA. जैसे ICAI is giving CA का degree, AICPA is giving CPA का degree. CPA मतलब अमेरिका का CA है tie-up. फाइनल देना पड़ता है. हाँ, because अभी recent exams में one of my students cleared ये CA final. वो and he said कि सर वो वहां का टैक्स पढ़ाने के लिए कोई है क्या आपके पास? आई सेड बुकलेट तो भेज, मैं चेक करता हूं. एंड इफ आई टेल हिम कि मैं कर रहा हूं, इतना तो कॉन्फिडेंट, ही गॉट एग्जाम्पशन इन इंटर एंड फाइनल बोथ ही स्टडीड फ्रॉम मी ओनली, दोनों में एग्जाम्पशन. आई नो दैट ही वोंट स्टडी फ्रॉम एनीबॉडी एल्स इफ आई से दैट आई एम डूइंग, बिकॉज़ आई विल डू इट ओनली व्हेन आई एम 100% श्योर, अदरवाइज आई वोंट डू इट. बट टाई अप है कि नहीं, दैट आई एम नॉट 100%. ही जस्ट आस्क्ड मी कि सर वहां का टैक्स लॉ पढ़ना. ऑल दीज बेनिफिट्स आर पॉसिबल because there is cooperation. Cooperation can be between the two governments. Cooperation can be between one trade or professional body here with there. ICAI has cooperation with UKCMA or AICPA or Singapore Institute of Chartered Accountants. And cooperation can be between government of India and government of UK if they are signing a free trade agreement. Do you understand? This is possible only when both governments sit across a table. Government of India is explaining the government of France. France का कौन है वो? मैकरोनी. क्या मैकरोनी तो पास्ता है, नहीं सॉरी मैक्रॉन. हाँ, अरे इमैनुअल मैक्रॉन, ऐसा ही कुछ नाम है उसका. आई बिलीव रिसेंटली ही हैड कम टू इंडिया. फ्रांस का एग्जांपल चल रहा है, देयरफॉर आई एम टेकिंग हिज एग्जांपल. रिसेंटली ही हैड कम टू इंडिया, देन ही वेंट विद मोदी जी टू अ टी वेंडर, एंड आफ्टर दे ड्रैंक टी, देन मोदी जी टोल्ड हिम कि ये देखो इंडिया में भी मेक पेमेंट लाइक दिस, ऐसे यूपीआई से पे किया. दैट गाय वाज स्टैंडिंग एंड वाचिंग, एंड मोदी जी से साइड सामने कैमरा वाला खड़ा है, तो ही बोला ऐसे खड़ा रह के देख, एंड देन ही शोड हाउ यूपीआई वर्क्स. मोदी जी एक्सप्लेन फ्रांस का प्रेसिडेंट हाउ यूपीआई, दैट वीडियो वाज वेरी फेमस ऑन सोशल. यू डिडंट सी दैट? मोदी जी का ठग लाइफ है. ठग लाइफ समझते हो? ना 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 ना. मोदी जी सेट विद बिल गेट्स एंड ही वाज एक्सप्लेनिंग विंडोज. मोदी जी वाज एक्सप्लेनिंग विंडोज टू बिल गेट्स. नहीं देखा था आपने? You can just, simple Google search में you'll get those images, those videos. Modi ji explaining Windows to Bill Gates. Modi ji explaining UPI to Macron. Oh, France का president came to India. They sit across a table, and Modi ji is explaining कि bro सुन, if this way double tax comes, so my people won't come there, your people won't come there. Chalna, let us get united. Sometimes you leave, sometimes I leave. See, you can clap when both peoples are. आपको both peoples बोलते हैं, क्या बोलेंगे? You can clap when only, वो बोलते हैं हिंदी में proverb है, ताली दो हाथ से बजती है. You can, वो what is that famous proverb in Hindi? It takes two to tango. हिंदी नहीं, इंग्लिश है. It takes two to tango. ये सुना है आपने? नहीं. It takes two to tango. नहीं, ताली दो हाथ से बजती. It means sing. Same है, same. Sometimes I will leave, sometimes you. I am not saying that France, you only leave always. Let's do one thing. Agreement में लिख देते हैं home country will always get tax. तो हित के केस में India will get tax and France won't. But if someone from there comes here, any French national, वहां का native, if he comes here and earns income, at that time you take tax, I will not. Other option, let's write in the agreement, host country will get tax. तो हित के एग्जांपल में France will get tax. But if that guy comes here, then India will get tax. This is possible when there is equal flow from both countries. Think about it. Indians you will see in France. फ्रांस वाले को इंडिया में किधर देखा आप? सेलिंग वड़ा पाव ऑन द स्ट्रीट्स ऑफ इंडिया. उसमें भी बोलेगा फ्रेंच में वड़ा पाव को क्या बोलते? जैसुई तू है ले वो लगा. व्हाट इज वड़ा पाव कॉल्ड? नहीं है ना फ्रांस में. फ्रेंच लैंग्वेज में वड़ा पाव का टर्म कुछ है नहीं. हैव यू एवर सीन एनी फ्रेंच नेशनल सेलिंग एनी प्रोडक्ट ऐसे इंडिया? चाय. तो हाउ कैन वी हैव अ कॉमन अग्रीमेंट? मोस्ट प्रोबेबली यही होएगा दैट बोथ गवर्नमेंट्स विल गिव सम डिस्काउंट. See, Heath as a taxpayer is not interested in you are giving waiver or you are giving waiver or you are reducing. Point is, together are you reducing 70? Are both governments involved in this reduction of 70? When both governments are involved, when there is cooperation, do you realize this becomes a case of bilateral relief? But oral promises won't work. समझ लो मोदी जी एंड मैक्रॉन हाई फाई, होम कंट्री विल टेक टैक्स, पक्का भरोसा है? शेक है नहीं. They will have to enter into an agreement, and the agreement that the two governments will enter into will be called a double taxation avoidance agreement. When both governments enter into an agreement with each other, it will be called a double taxation avoidance agreement. See, starting of the chapter heading में हमने लिखा double taxation avoidance agreement. Agreement can happen only when there are two parties involved. The two parties, suno, will not be assessee and income tax department. The two parties will not be the two income tax departments of both countries. The agreement will be done by government of India and government of France. That agreement is called double taxation avoidance agreement, DTAA. Other names, convention, treaty. DTAA is an agreement between two governments to provide a relief from double taxation, where resident of one country has income in another country, and thus principle of residence and source both are applicable and giving rise to juridical double taxation. And when both governments are involved, that relief, example समझा, home country, host country या reduction in rate, that relief will be called which relief? Bilateral. Whenever there is cooperation between the two governments, whenever the two governments, देखो agreement किया मतलब there is cooperation. There can't be agreement without cooperation. Whenever there is cooperation between two governments and they enter into an agreement, and under the agreement you are getting relief, then such a relief will be called, come on, bilateral relief. Do you understand? Pakka. To give you the statistics, world में there are roughly 200 countries. Round figure बोलना, there are 196 or 197 countries. पागल किधर बोलना मत, 5000 countries in the world, 2000. Without knowing anything, don't speak nonsense. 200 countries, round figure. Okay, 196 or 197, round figure I am taking 200. India has already done agreements with roughly 117 or 18 countries. Round figure ले लो 120 countries. मतलब India already has DTAA with 60% of the world. 200 round figure है, actually number odd है, but I am taking round figure. 200 में से roughly 120 countries के साथ India already has an agreement. That means, can I say with respect to those countries, the relief of double taxation will be provided as per the agreement done by India, and that relief will be called bilateral relief. But this also makes one thing clear, that even today there are roughly 80 countries in the world which don't have a double taxation avoidance agreement with India, because between these countries there is non-cooperation. The country is hostile. There is no friendship, and because of that, because of non-cooperation, there is no DTAA. अभी now you write DTAA or you write treaty or convention, meaning is same. So ये तो लिख लो, but it means the same. But point ये है that there is no cooperation. I will give you some examples of there being no cooperation. Okay. Supposingly, देखो Modi ji is very smart. He is Gujju. He knows how to do business. He knows how to deal with people. He knows how to convince people. It's a very difficult task. So he sits across the table with world leaders and convinces them that you and me having an agreement is beneficial for both governments. It is not my benefit, it is your benefit. The most intelligent personality trait which I have seen in every Gujju I have interacted in my life, and everyone should adopt it. I want to do business with you. I know that this business is beneficial for me, but my conversation, every line I will try to prove that it is beneficial for you. Do something in your favor by convincing that other guy that this is your benefit. Now, how to find out words for that? That you find out, that you will have to understand how to. It's something we all need to learn. Modi ji, one by one, started convincing everyone. Of course, there were treaties before Modi ji also, so those governments were already convinced. But then, Modi ji is known for this. He is, friends with everyone, whether it is France ka guy, whether it is New Zealand ka guy, whether it is Italy ka. Modi ji is friends with everyone. But is it possible that some of these world leaders, when Modi ji is trying to contact, okay, chalo na, let's do a treaty which is beneficial for both of us, those world leaders refuse to contact only our government? Possibility. Today's time and day, less likely that one world leader does not want to talk to another world leader, especially someone who has aura. Possibility come hai, but possible hai. North Korea, King Jong, kya naam hai uska? North Korea's foreign policies, they don't have internet. North Korea mein no one had COVID. No one had COVID in North Korea. They eliminated COVID. You know how? मराठी में एक प्रोवर्ब है दीपाली. मराठी आता है? जो खोकला त्याला ठोकला. नहीं. COVID detected, shoot at sight. For those who don't know Marathi, you cannot stay in Maharashtra and not know Marathi, by the way. But in case you don't, वो नॉर्थ कोरिया है, तो he can refuse, he can do anything. वो possible. Less likely. Second possibility, he is ready to talk, but he is not interested in treaty. Still likely. Bola no, we want to stay independent. We don't want agreement with anyone. Still less possible, because every country wants to be in the good books of every other country. We can at any time go for a world war now. So we need to be friends with at least someone. Third possibility, and the most likely of all, we talk to each other. We have willingness of doing the treaty. But when we sit down, we realize that the terms of this treaty are favorable for you, not for us. It is not going to work like this. Nahi jamega sir. And therefore there is no treaty. Ye sabse likely. And we are talking about, two countries. I am a tax teacher. Operate at a very, very basic individual level. Today I am working with about 5-6 organizations across the country. I am negotiated with 50. And almost every alternate day, there is some phone call. Sir, do you have availability? Kidhar se lao? And with whomsoever I am working, I work with full sincerity and intelligence. Years tak, I don't leave. Unlike what is happening recent times in CA coaching, every day there are teachers who are going from one place to another. Raat ko hai, subah nahi hai. That is the condition. Like literally the condition is, class mein teacher is going as per timetable lecture. Just imagine me coming here at 7 o'clock, teaching you till 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock I am saying I have left this class, I am packing my bags and going. Samne wali building mein, anyone wants to learn from me, now come there. Otherwise, bye. This has happened twice in the last 1 year. You may not know this. Final ke bacche, they are unaffected with all this. But foundation ka kids, inter ka kids, talk to them. They will tell you about what is happening. And to go in that opposite building, there is a third guy who has sponsored. There is a third guy who has sponsored that opposite building for this professor. Because that third guy is not interested in upliftment of this professor. That third guy basically wants this classroom to be vacant. फाइनल में इतने लोग आके क्लास में बैठ गए, क्लासरूम इज फुल, हाउ डेयर दिस क्लास फंक्शन लाइक दिस? चलो इसको तोड़ूंगा. ऑलमोस्ट एवरी डे आई ऑल्सो नहीं अभी some are scared सर तो बैच होगा कि नहीं. आई विल कंप्लीट योर बैच इवन इफ आई बिकम फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर. तो उसका टेंशन मत लो, कमिटमेंट इज कमिटमेंट. ओके सुनो, if at my level I negotiate with so many people before working with 5-6, उससे ज्यादा considering the size I can't give my time to other organizations. तो ये गवर्नमेंट है, they can disagree on one point and not have the treaty. Macroeconomics are involved here. One decision can have far-reaching effect. Once the prime minister of one country signs an agreement and gives, all future prime ministers are legally bound to honor that treaty. आप समझ रहे हो? Some prime minister, some chief minister don't bother. One chief minister took 20,000 crore rupees का लोन from Japan. क्यों? बुलेट ट्रेन के लिए. जापान का कंपनी is giving 20 years का मोरेटोरियम मतलब 20 years तक no repayment and no interest. Interest और repayment will start only after 20 years. तब तक बुलेट ट्रेन will be ready, inaugurated. You know what? That CM will not remain CM 20 years later. We wish you the best, you become the PM, but repayment of the loan has to be done by the new CM. And this has happened many a times in our country's past. That one person took loan where future people have to repay. So you have to be very, very careful before you do any agreement with anyone, because it can have massive impact. One CM wants to inaugurate bullet train, ribbon cut के हो गया, stamp लग गया. There is a name plate over there inaugurated by our honorable PM or honorable CM. वो repayment का burden comes on future guys. आप समझ रहे हो? That is why we have to be very careful. And then therefore there are these 80 countries with which, if I have to keep it very simple, sir jama nahi, I was not comfortable, we decided not to do it. So do you realize there is non-cooperation? There won't be any treaty. The two governments are not cooperating with each other. ऐसे में क्या होगा पता है? ऐसे में people like Heath will suffer. Please understand. Heath was resident in India, income in France. Double taxation हुआ, 30 in India, 40 in France. If India and France cooperate and have a treaty, so with the treaty he will be able to reduce his tax. But if India and France don't have a treaty, that means India will take its 30, France will take its 40. Poor guy will have to pay double tax in any country with which India does not have a treaty. But then India feels sorry for Heath, especially for Heath, because why is Heath important in Indian economy? Please understand. Heath is bringing foreign money to India. Think about it. Heath is a resident. Income is France, foreign income. That money he is bringing in India, and that is why he is suffering double tax. No. So Heath, listen. Now this is government of India talking to you. Assuming that France is not cooperating. देखो France के साथ we have treaty, so France will fall in bilateral. Assuming that it is some other country X which is not cooperating, which is one of those 80 countries not cooperating. Heath, we can't do anything about that 40. Q. Because that country is not cooperating. That 40 is not in our control. But Heath, you are paying us how much? 30 na? Usme se we can grant you some relief because that is in our control. Is only one country coming forward to take care of you and grant you relief? And in our story, obviously, it is government of India who is coming forward to give you this relief. Because only one government is coming forward to give you relief, that relief will be called, as the name is self-explanatory, that relief will be called unilateral relief. Did you understand the meanings of bilateral and unilateral? So, very quickly, globally there are two principles of review. Fatafat bolo. Principle of residence, principle of... We want to ensure that we learn this full chapter in class itself, because 6 to 8 marks, big hai, and kuch bhi ho jaye, I want to score full marks in this question. CA में, it is not about one adjustment, I don't know, ये 1 mark जा रहा है, ये 2 mark जा रहा है. You don't have to be scared of that 1 mark or 2 mark which is going. CA में the approach is a little different. ये question 6 marks, पकड़. ये question, ये तो मेरे को आता है. Grab wherever you can find marks. Whichever question you find marks, first solve them. Because there is no rule that you have to solve your paper in the I always say that MCQs you solve at एकदम last में, because MCQs में solve करते करते one step goes wrong, your final answer will go wrong. At least subjective में whatever steps you've done correctly, you'll get marks. And identify those questions, those areas where you can grab marks. Costing में concept है Pareto analysis. एक तो costing you don't study final में, and Pareto analysis मैं बताता हूँ. 80-20 वाला rule. 20% of your goods, the company is making many goods, उसमें से 20% products are bringing 80% revenue. Today more than 90% of my income is sale of video lectures. I can call that PGBP. ये तो IFOS है. I'm not joking. I know where to focus more on. Same analysis or approach you have to apply when it comes to your any subject. You know PGBP पक्का 14 marks, TDS पक्का 14 marks. Focus on those areas. DT double है. The moment you see the question, ये तो मेरे को आता है. This is DT double. I have studied this properly. I will grab these 6 marks. It can go to 8 also, but minimum 6 तो है. आप समझा? Identify those areas, and that is why DT double A का chapter I want you to learn in class itself. फटाफट बोलो. Globally there are 2 principles of levy of tax. Principle of residence, principle of source. Principle of residence will be applied by the home country. Principle of source will be applied by the host country. This will result in double taxation, where one person who is resident in one country has income in another country. That double taxation is called juridical double taxation, because same person, same income getting taxed twice. There is economic double taxation also, where the double tax is coming on different persons, but then usme there is no relief, and that as a concept is over. Correct hai? We are learning relief under juridical double taxation, which will be of 2 types. कौन सा 2 types? Bilateral relief and unilateral relief. When both governments have cooperation with each other and the treaty is done and relief is provided under the treaty, under the agreement, that agreement is called double taxation avoidance agreement, and relief which is given as per the agreement will be called bilateral relief. But when there is no cooperation, that is roughly 40% of the world with India, even today there is no cooperation, so there won't be any agreement, and only India will provide you some relief, because only one government will be involved. We will call it unilateral relief. If you want to have a summary of this, so listen, bilateral relief mein together the governments will give you relief from 70, if you remember 70. Unilateral relief mein government of India will give you relief from 30. See, whether I get relief from 70 or whether I get relief from 30, my overall liability is coming down, na? And that is called granting relief, double taxation relief. Now you know what we have to study in the chapter. I will give a heading, bilateral relief. So now the answer. Learn all the points about bilateral relief. Khatam. Then give another heading, unilateral relief. Learn all the points about unilateral relief. Concept over. Chapter over. 2 concepts. Chapter over. Which 2 concepts? How to give bilateral relief. How to give unilateral relief. 2 concepts khatam. Chapter khatam. One by one. You understood the meaning when we studied comparative analysis में what is bilateral, what is unilateral. वो meaning समझा क्या bro? Hello. चलो. Shall we? Bilateral relief under section 159. बाद में अभी टाइम नहीं. Bilateral relief under section 159. Whenever both governments cooperate with each other and therefore both of them will enter into a double taxation avoidance agreement, which international tax के language में is also known as treaty or convention, will be called bilateral. Hello, sir, you have written 3 points in 1 line. You're not even explaining anything, sir. ऐसा क्या फटाफट you want to finish syllabus? Correct ना? हाँ, ये पागल लोग यही है. Done. Shall we take the concept of bilateral relief further from here? You've understood this? When both governments sit across a table, they discuss and decide the terms. They enter into an agreement. As per the agreement, sometimes home country will leave tax, sometimes host country will leave tax, sometimes Both will reduce their rate. Sometimes it is possible one of them has reduced their rate. Together they will bring down 70 to a lower number. That concept is called bilateral relief. And because both governments are involved, there is cooperation, and that is why bilateral. Correct? Let's take it further from. India has entered into roughly 120 agreements. Every DTAA, every DTAA, 120 agreements. India has agreement with US also. There's Indo-US agreement. There's Indo-Nepal agreement. Indo-Pak agreement. We may have problem on land. Financially, we have cooperation with each other. But it is restricted to वो एयरलाइन बिजनेस. मतलब इंडिया का एनी एयरलाइन गोज टू पाकिस्तान तो डबल इनकम होएगा, तो डबल टैक्स होएगा. पाकिस्तान का एयरलाइन कम टू इंडिया, वो लैंड वाला एयरलाइन ना, डायरेक्ट बिल्डिंग वाला एयरलाइन. पाकिस्तान का एनी एयरक्राफ्ट कम्स टू इंडिया तो अगेन डबल टैक्स होएगा. तो द कॉपरेशन इज लिमिटेड टू दैट बिजनेस. आप समझ रहे हो? बट देयर इज एन अग्रीमेंट बिटवीन इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान. व्हाट इफ आई टेल यू देयर इज इंडो चाइना agreement also? 100 galis, abuses we give to China. Treaty hai. So do we have treaty with US, UK, Nepal, China? Eh? But the calculation is different. Every DTAA, different calculation of relief. The relief which is calculated as per Indo-US agreement can be different from the relief which is calculated as per Indo-Nepal agreement or Indo-UK agreement or India-Australia agreement or India-New Zealand agreement. Different hai. It is possible that Indo-US agreement mein US is giving relief, matlab home country is giving relief, and India Nepal agreement mein maybe host country is giving relief. This will change from agreement to agreement, person to person. You can't ever say that I have got knowledge of international tax. I have got full knowledge or comprehensive knowledge of international tax unless and until you read all the 120 treaties. Why, sir? Why? Okay. Some years ago, roughly 7-8 years ago, I completed one CA final batch. All of them, most of them passed in that attempt only. Few who did not, in the next attempt they cleared. There were quite a few exemptions. One of them came, one was, I did not know when the batch was going on. After the batch got over, he was all India 22 या 23. Then he came with 70 marks. We celebrated. Those days the exemption party होती भी नहीं थी. I have started it recently. So he came to me, and then I came to know that his father is the owner of one of the top 10 firms of Mumbai. मतलब Big Four को हटा दो, तो he was, his firm falls in the remaining 6. I had no idea when the batch was going on. Why will I ask like आप मेरे को क्या करने का है? But he still did EY में articleship. हाँ, तेरा फॉर्म गंदा है ना, इसलिए ना, है ना? He like, no sir, if I learn from, देखो, wherever you learn, one day when you leave, so you have to leave with few clients. तो EY का clients लाने के लिए you have to first go and work in EY, no? हाँ, smart strategy. हो गया, सेलिब्रेट किया. नेक्स्ट डे ही कॉल्ड मी अगेन. सर, मेरी एक फ्रेंड है, शी वॉज born and brought up in India, but later her family migrated to America, and now she comes to India for some work purposes. तो इंडिया में किसी ने उसका TDS काटा. She got some 20 lakh का पेमेंट इन इंडिया, उसमें 2 lakh का TDS, प्रोफेशनल फीस का 10% TDS होता है. कैन यू हेल्प हर फाइल हर टैक्स रिटर्न? I said I charge. Just because it is your reference, मतलब ये फ्री नहीं होगा. And by the way, प्रोफेशनल वर्क दे रहा है तो can you? क्या? Obviously I can. He did not ask for any share. तो क्वेश्चन ही नहीं अराइज हुआ. पूछा होता तो you never know. But he didn't ask only. Okay. Some students are so good, they don't even ask कि सर क्या देने वाले. Such, I swear, she did not. She did not take a single rupee when she got you. कसम से बोल रहा हूँ. Okay, and she has not told me not to say this to you. मतलब ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. She has not taken. मजाक नहीं कर रहा हूं, सुनो, आई सेड आई विल डू इट व्हेन आई, देखो ऐसे यूएस का कोई क्लाइंट है, आई हैड टू जस्ट टेक अप द टैक्स का वर्क, व्हेन आई सॉ हर प्रोफेशनल फीस आई रियलाइज दैट शी इज बेसिकली एन एक्ट्रेस हु वर्क्स इन शोज फॉर नेटफ्लिक्स, अमेरिका से इंडिया शी कम्स फॉर शूटिंग पर्पसेस, नेटफ्लिक्स के शोज में काम किया, शी गॉट मनी विद टीडीएस सो डिडक्टेड एंड देयर आफ्टर शी गोज बैक टू अमेरिका, क्योंकि ये प्रोफेशनल फीस पेड टू एक्टर था, तो एज पर इंडियन टैक्स लॉ इट वाज 10%. माय फर्स्ट कंफ्यूजन वाज, यार नॉन रेसिडेंट का 10% नहीं होता है. देन आई चेक्ड हर पासपोर्ट, शी हैड स्पेंट मोर देन 182 days, तो फॉर टैक्स पर्पसेस शी वाज रेसिडेंट, दो सिटीजन अमेरिका की, बट टैक्स पर्पसेस शी वाज रेसिडेंट. करेक्ट है? I found out कि as per the treaty she is eligible for relief. और ये जो भी इंडिया में टीडीएस डिडक्ट हुआ है, फुल अमाउंट विल कम एज रिफंड. अब प्रॉब्लम क्या हुआ, आई डिड नॉट गेट द डॉक्यूमेंट्स फर्स्ट. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन वाज, सर हाउ मच डू यू टेक? आई थॉट अमेरिका नॉर्मली इंडिविजुअल का रिटर्न का, वो भी ओनली दैट, खाली एक ट्रांजेक्शन पे टीडीएस डिडक्ट हुआ है, यू जस्ट हैव टू फाइल रिटर्न. तो 20 लाख का इनकम दिखा के आई थॉट कि 44 एडीए कर दूंगा, थोड़ा सा रिफंड मिल जाएगा. 10 लाख का इनकम दिखा के 1,12,500, दोस डेज देयर वाज नो न्यू रेजिम. 1,79,000 का कुछ होएगा, 20,000 का रिफंड हो जाएगा. व्हेन आई रिसीव्ड ऑल द पेपर्स, आई केम टू नो अबाउट दैट अमेरिका वाला बैकग्राउंड. अभी इंडियन चार्टेड अकाउंटेंट प्लस मारवाड़ी, थोड़ा ग्रीड तो आया कि ये तो 5,000 का केस तो नहीं था. आई कोटेड 5,000, नॉर्मली इंडिविजुअल रिटर्न इज 3,000, बट आई सेड अमेरिका ने तो 5 तो लू. And I was thinking, 5 ले रहा हूं, मजा आएगा. After looking at the papers, I was like, यार ये तो लॉस मेकिंग डील हो गया यार, अभी क्या करूं? I knew कि रिलीफ इज अवेलेबल. I said, सुनो मैम, 5,000 में I will do your work as commitment is commitment. Okay? And in that you will get some 20,000 as refund from the 2 lakh TDS that got deducted. If you want me to work a little harder, I can apply some contacts for you, and with that I can get your entire 2 lakh refunded, but for that the fees will be 25,000. So you will get extra refund of 170. For that you have to pay me extra 20,000. And it's okay if you don't want, मतलब वो चलेगा, मतलब I will do the work that I committed. Commitment is commitment. 5,000 I will finish it. She gets extra 170. Will she pay extra 20? Obviously. Net में it is still benefit of 1,50,000 rupees. One income tax return 25,000. Giving Big Four a run for their money. Big Four पैन कार्ड एप्लीकेशन का 50,000 रुपया लेता है. In case you are not aware, बता रहा हूं मैं, काम किया बिग फोर में. हाँ, पैन कार्ड एप्लीकेशन 50,000. They start with that. तो नॉन रेसिडेंट्स का होगा. I am aware because I have had, साउथ बॉम्बे के बैचेस में क्वाइट अ फ्यू, ऑल योर वो जो फ्रेंड वाज ना ईवाई में ही काम कर रहे थे. बाय द वे दिस स्टूडेंट वाज फ्रॉम हिज बैच ओनली. हाँ, तो सुनो 25 मजा आ गया. एंड आई वाज वंडरिंग कि यार मैंने प्रोफेशनली सही किया, अगर भाड़ में जाए. शी नेक्स्ट डे कॉल्स मी एंड सेज, सर माय फ्रेंड हु इज द डायरेक्टर ऑफ माय मूवीज, बिकॉज प्रोड्यूसर वाज इंडियन, तो शूटिंग के लिए तो कम टू इंडिया, बट डायरेक्टर वाज आल्सो इंडिया में, केरला में born guy, and then later on they shifted to America, his family. So they are like, sir इसका भी सेम इशू है, इसका भी कर देंगे क्या? मैम नाउ तो यू नो 25,000 रुपया. बट बिकॉज ही वॉज डायरेक्टर, टू बी श्योर कि केस सेम है, आई अगेन वेंट एंड रेड इंडो यूएसटी कि कंफर्म तो है कि फुल रिफंड विल कम. हाँ, नो प्रॉब्लम. नाउ सपोजिंगली, एंड दिस इज हाउ प्रैक्टिस बिल्ड्स. Reference after reference, client after client. One person comes, you charge very little to the first guy. Sooner or later he will open firm or LLP or company. He will have his company ka compliances. He will have his spouse, his HUF ka return, his own personal return. He will recommend one friend, that one friend will come with again company, spouse, HUF. That is how practice is. The difference between CA coaching and CA practice is that in CA coaching every year we need new people to pay us, because the old ones don't pay again unless they have come from inter to final. No matter how good you are or no matter how good I am, next year you will not take admission again. Sir मस्त है यार एडमिशन, अभी खुद का अटेम्प्ट है तो मर मर के यू कम टू क्लास. हाथ जोड़ जोड़ के आई हैव टू रिक्वेस्ट, प्लीज अटेंड ऑफलाइन. ऑनलाइन के चक्कर में मत पढ़ो. मोस्ट ऑफ यू आर लिसनिंग. थैंक यू वेरी मच. but next year you just because sir is good नहीं होने वाला है. I have to search for new people. CA practice में ऐसा नहीं है, same people will, वो same lady will pay me 25,000 every year for that same return which takes me less than 15 minutes. Not bad, no bro. 15 minutes का 25,000 मतलब it is 1 lakh per hour. CA coaching में no one is earning that much. आप समझ रहे हो पॉइंट को इधर? That is how practice is built. Start is very slow, but later on benefit होगा. Because of multiple references, I started reading Indo-US agreement again and again, because it's a treaty between India and America. I have to be sure if supposingly ये दो लोगों का they were in entertainment business, they were director, actor, उनका I have understood the law. But supposingly this American director now has some another American businessman friend who also has some operations in India and gets tax return done from me because reference works like this only. I will have to one more time go and check the agreement to be 100% sure. Client after client, multiple readings. Let us assume that I know Indo-American agreement perfect. Every clause, clause by heart. If Heath comes to me, my knowledge will go down the gutter, is what you need to agree and understand. This is what I am trying to explain to you here. Despite multiple readings of the Indo-American agreement and memorizing the Indo-American agreement by heart, मैं assume करने का बोला, actually I have not memorized Indo-American agreement. नया act कर लेते हैं पहले. I have not. Okay, old act memorize किया. Slowly and gradually new act also will happen. Don't worry. You will never realize also can new act I am doing for the first time. Okay, तो उसका चिंता मत करो. But I honestly tell you, I don't have the clauses of Indo-American agreement by heart. I am saying assume that I have that agreement by heart, clause by clause. My client in the form of Heath, the knowledge is zero. Because for this now I will have to go and read Indo-French agreement, which is going to be completely different. And that is the line that I have written right now. And there are these 120 agreements. In one country, home country will win one agreement, home country will leave tax. In another agreement, host country will leave tax. Sometimes they will reduce. Every agreement ka calculation is different from every other agreement. And now you take it as good news or bad news. Knowledge purpose, bad news. Effort purpose, good news. Agreements are not a part of your syllabus. You want to practice direct taxes? You have foreign clients. After learning can never stop. After you become a CA, one by one you will have to go and read the agreements. If agreements are kept in syllabus, तो क्या होगा पता है? Group 1, Group 2, direct tax separate. Already in terms of size, it is the biggest subject. You know this very well. It can defeat FR in terms of size. And FR is big, really big. Bro, audit does not stand anywhere. IDT in terms of size does not stand anywhere. IBS वैसे भी you are not going to study also. I know most students IBS का approach is sir वो last 2-3 दिन में कुछ कर लेंगे. Because anyways you all are learning FR, AFM, etc. right now only. So all the concepts you have to apply together at one place. If you are questioning what is IBS doing, why should it be existing in CA syllabus, it should be abolished. IBS still has case studies from FR, AFM, DT, IDT audit. I gave CA final में paper called Information System Control and Audit. इसका computers of 100 marks. CA final में. You're still doing something better than me. We are millennials. हमारा thought process was not क्यों है ये नहीं वीडियो बना के इंस्टीट्यूट को बोलो के रिमूव दिस. Our thought process was पेपर है 40 लाना है ना, चलो कुछ करते हैं कि 40 आज. लेट बी द डिफिकल्ट पार्ट, क्योंकि 12th में वी स्टडीड इंटीग्रेशन, नॉट बाय क्वेश्चनिंग के व्हाई डज इट एग्जिस्ट, बट बाय के ये आता है इसको सॉल्व करना है, लेट्स लर्न, अदरवाइज आई विल फोकस ऑन द अदर एरियाज, गेट माय मार्क्स फ्रॉम समवेयर विद दैट ऑब्जेक्टिव. Gen Z has a different approach. Gen Z is the only, you all are Gen Z. आपका वो जनरेशन है where you know बेबी बूमर्स ने मिलेनियल्स का बैंड बजाया ऑफिस में. मिलेनियल्स आर ट्राइंग देयर लेवल बेस्ट दैट दे डू द सेम विद जेन ज़ी, बट जेन ज़ी डज नॉट लेट अस डू. सर मन नहीं है आज ऑफिस नहीं आऊंगा. जेन ज़ी इज द फर्स्ट जनरेशन व्हिच हैज प्रोबब्ली डन इट. आपके ऑफिस में अलाउड नहीं है ऐसा करना. आज मन नहीं है, आज आई एम नॉट कमिंग बिकॉज़ आज मूड नहीं है. तो ऐसा है ब्रो, ऐसा है. कि दिस कैन नॉट बी केप्ट इन योर सिलेबस। अगर ये सिलेबस में रखा तो May 27 नहीं 37 तक हो जाएगा, एंड तब तक लॉ विल अगेन चेंज। तो वापस एक्ट करो, नॉट इन सिलेबस। इट इज स्टिल, आई कंसिडर इट बैड न्यूज बिकॉज यू वोंट गेट टू लर्न इट। अभी क्या है, यूएस का क्लाइंट आएगा, नाउ दिस इज वेयर योर टैलेंट कम्स इनटू पिक्चर। टॉक टू द क्लाइंट लाइक यू नो एवरीथिंग, लाइक अरे आई एम डीलिंग विद सो मेनी यूएस का क्लाइंट्स, दिस इज सो इजी, you don't know anything about the treaty, but don't show it. Once you get the client, once your assignment is confirmed, then read the treaty. No, all the resources are available on the internet. आज जाओगे ना इनकम टैक्स की वेबसाइट के ऊपर, you have full new income tax act, all 536 sections, all 335 rules, all the new forms, everything is there. आप जाओगे नहीं, सर है ना वो, that's okay, but then treaty के लिए सर नहीं है ना। All the treaties are uploaded on the website, जाके चेक तो करो। But you are like छोड़ना है, ही क्लाइंट बन के आएगा तो आई विल रीड दैट ऑल्सो, फ्रांस वाला। सेम थिंग हैपेंड विद मी, अमेरिका का क्लाइंट आया तो आई रेड इंडो यूएस एग्रीमेंट थोड़ा सा, एंड दैट वाज 8 years ago, by now I have forgotten that also. You understand? तो लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, सिलेबस में तो नहीं। 120 treaties, every treaty will give us different calculation, but the individual treaties are not a part of our syllabus. The calculation was never going to be same in all the treaties, because when I am working with multiple organizations, my financial terms with all organizations are different. I am having that special talent. I have convinced every organization that they are paying me the lowest. उनको लगता है कि ये सर इतना कम में अपने इधर है, it's good, and everyone feels that others are paying me more than them. वो मेरा टैलेंट, but my terms are different with everyone. मुंबई की क्लासेस, सर दिस इज द पेमेंट दैट यू विल गेट टू कंडक्ट द बैच, you have to manage everything else, how to come, how to go, what is your traveling cost, what is your food cost, ये सब। when I used to work with outstation classes, बैच का पेमेंट, एयर का टिकट, if I go by car to अहमदाबाद तो उसका फुल मनी, होटल का स्टे, फूड, everything they used to give. Are terms and conditions different at such a micro level? How can terms be same at such a macro level? Use your brain. And therefore you have to go and learn individual treaties if office के लिए required, exam के लिए not required. Every treaty will have different calculation. We are not supposed to learn the treaties at least for exam. A big question arises, sir, we have understood what is bilateral relief, yes or no? Meaning of bilateral relief, both governments are cooperating with each other, that we have understood. अरे बोलो yes or no? तो sir, if treaties are not in our syllabus, तो फिर एग्जाम के लिए what do we have to study? Or do we have to study something कि bilateral is over and we are going to unilateral? Do we have to study something? हाँ, एग्जाम के लिए you may not have to study the individual calculation of individual agreement, not to be studied. लेकिन there are some common points, you can call it features of tax treaties. Features समझते? Specific calculation may be different, but every tax treaty will have the following points. Whether it is Indo-US treaty, UK treaty, Nepal treaty के पाकिस्तान treaty, ये होएगा। Hello, it is like your marks in FR can be different from your friends, or DT can be different from your friends, but you are all going to give that exam, no? तो कुछ तो common है amongst all of you. Some may be good with FR, some may be good with theory, some may be good with practical, but everyone is a CA student, no? तो वो common features of treaties is what you have to learn for exam. Is every calculation different? But still will there be some common features? Let us learn what are the common points. First, every treaty will provide for relief from double taxation. What will be different? Different क्या होगा? Different क्या होगा? Calculation will be different. Sometimes home country will grant waiver, sometimes host country will grant waiver, sometimes they will reduce the rate, वो अलग बात है, but the number 7070 will be brought down to a lower number. It's a common feature across treaties. What is the full name of the treaty? What is the first heading that we gave today morning when we started the chapter? Double taxation avoidance. उसका treaty, उसका convention ना, तो obviously there will be some relief. The whole objective behind doing the treaty is granting you relief from double taxation. So how to reduce will be written inside the treaty. But will there be every treaty having one clause of tax reduction? A common point. Now you know what we are learning for exam. Common points across treaties. Second, every treaty, very interesting to know, very interesting, will provide for exchange of information and assistance in tax collection. Every treaty will provide for exchange of information and assistance in tax collection. Every treaty will provide for calculation of relief. The calculation may be different, but there will be some relief. ये correct है? First point is understood. चलो. Second point, exchange of information and assistance in tax collection. Just imagine, I am me Modi, you Miloni. Me Modi, you Miloni. मतलब one country leader talking to another country leader. Okay. Hi Miloni ji. How are you? Fine. See, listen. We are doing a treaty for mutual cooperation. Tax treaty का बात कर रहे हैं. Mutual cooperation between treaty for mutual cooperation, mutual understanding. Hello. So that people of my country and your country get tax relief. Are we doing this for taxpayers, assessees? If we are taking so much trouble for your benefit, the assessees, तो government will keep something for themselves also. कुछ तो हमारा भी benefit होना as a government. Some benefit we also should get now. वो second point. Supposingly there are Indians who have earned income in your country and they are not declaring here. There are Indians who have incorporated companies in your country and are not even showing that they are the owners of those companies. Supposingly there is an Indian called Jethalal and he has opened some company in your country, Senorika Island. Senorika Island. Please inform us about such transactions done by Indians in your country. Exchange of information. And similarly, if Italians are doing similar transactions, they are selling pizza pasta here. Italian ही है ना? तो we will give you information. आप समझा क्या? Exchange of information. First point is for assessee, relief from double tax. Second point is for the benefit of the government. With this treaty, the government will get information about your transactions in the foreign country, and that government will get information about that country ka people ka transactions in India. This is whose benefit? ये government का benefit. They are taking trouble for you, so some benefit they will keep for themselves also. And the second point is more interesting. First, our government will get information. You are in India. You have incorporated companies in some foreign country. You are earning income in some foreign country. As per treaty, will that government first inform us? Because every treaty will have a clause of exchange of information. Ab second benefit, suno. Later in our syllabus, towards the end of volume 2, आपको याद है ना volume 1, volume 2, volume 1 unrelated chapters, volume 2 related chapters. Volume 2 में we have a chapter called recovery proceedings. So one day we will do that chapter. But even if I speak orally about it, you will understand. ऐसा नहीं है कि you will be completely blank about what I am speaking. So no. Supposingly you are an assessee in default. Assessee in default मतलब if we give notice to pay tax, demand notice, and you don't pay tax after getting demand notice. Within 30 days, if you don't make a payment, then the government will put a stamp on your head. Kya? Assessee in default. Every time any tax, interest, penalty, any amount is payable under the act, first they will send a request, demand notice book, and they will grant you a time of 30 days. In fact, those who have filed returns in offices, usme when the return is filed and then later you get your intimation, 143(1). Intimation आया, intimation under section 140. That has become 271. ठीक है, section number we will discuss in assessment procedure. उस intimation में there are two columns as determined by AO, as per ROI and as determined by AO. Sometimes if you have made some mistakes, तो outer column में there is some difference and sometimes some payable amount comes. You observe that within the intimation they write, if this intimation is showing any amount payable, kindly consider it as a demand notice and make payment within 30 days. because 30 days mein if you don't make payment, in any case you will be declared as assessee in default. The moment someone is declared assessee in default, what action can income tax department take? The assessing officer will appoint someone called TRO. TRO is tax recovery officer. वसूली भाई recovery officer. जल्दी बोल, कल सुबह पनवेल निकल. You don't know वसूली भाई? You should. He is the recovery officer. AO will tell the tax recovery officer to go and recover taxes. The TRO will come to your premises and he will take away your movable properties. Q, अगरबत्ती का. Q for recovery of taxes. The TRO can come and attach your immovable property. He can't take away the properties. He can attach the immovable property, seal them for the purpose of recovery of taxes. Supposingly you don't have any asset, you are एकदम भूखा नंगा, you don't have anything, so TRO can take you away. Take you away मतलब देखो, movable property, immovable property है तो they will be able to recover. But if they don't have any, if you don't have any asset or property for recovery, so they will take you away because they have to show arrest. और अगर अरेस्ट किया ना, one big change has taken place in the old act and new act. I have been making quite a few videos of comparison between the old act and new act. One of the upcoming videos, आपको मतलब basically ऐसा समझ लो, पहले लीक कर रहा हूँ. One of very interesting this video, this concept is, in the old act, if you are ever prosecuted under the income tax law, there was concept of rigorous imprisonment. And in the new act, they have changed the rigorous imprisonment to simple imprisonment. अब बोलेगा सर जेल तो जेल होता है. What is the rigorous imprisonment? में you have to, once you are under that imprisonment, you have to do manual labor. मतलब जेल में, like you know, Bollywood movies, चक्की पीसिंग, पत्थर तोड़ने का काम. Simple imprisonment में they won't do anything like that. You just have to stay in the jail. You just will be locked. जेल ही है, जेल. But it's a big change that way. कि at least tax evasion किया, तो जेल में पत्थर नहीं तोड़ना पड़ेगा. जेल में जाना पड़ेगा, but पत्थर नहीं तोड़ना पड़ेगा. It's a change that has taken place. So they have to show arrest if they don't have any asset to recover. And now what they will do? Auction. Auction your movable properties. किस लिए? To recover taxes. Auction your immovable properties. To recover taxes. So no, they can't auction you. Offend करूँ क्या? Auction assets का होता है. Liabilities cannot be auctioned. Sir, यार. Matter of time, few months में you will become assets. मेरा guarantee है. Some after May 27, some after November 27. Hey भाई, some after May 28 also. हम मालूम है मेरे को किसी का इधर. But you are going to become an asset soon. You understand the whole process in which recovery of taxes takes place. Now comes a problem. Problem ये है that you are a tax defaulter in India, but assets are abroad. You have assets in London. You have assets. ये जो country का India के साथ cooperation नहीं है ना, you will find Indians having assets in those countries. Nigeria में Indians have assets because Nigeria में there is no cooperation with India. Because if you have foreign assets, Indian income tax department can't go to that foreign country for attachment of assets. ये तो common sense है. Unless and until we have permission from that government, and you know where that permission will come from? Assistance in tax collection, which will be written in the treaty. In the treaty, we will write something like this. सुनो फ्रांस के प्रेसिडेंट अग्रीमेंट के अंदर that in case there is any Indian having asset in your country, kindly help us to auction those assets, recover the taxes. You can keep your charges for doing this whole process, but help us to do that. Every treaty will provide for this. Exchange of information and assistance in tax collection. If we are taking the trouble of doing a treaty for you, point number one, assessee का benefit है ना? There's something we will keep for ourselves also, no? What is that something? We will exchange information with each other about Indians doing transactions there or Italians doing transaction here and help each other in collection of taxes. मैंने short में लिखा है. You know how they have written it? Assistance in collection of fair and legitimate tax. English. Assistance in collection of tax चलेगा? Everyone? Is that understood? So no, when Jaitley ji became the finance minister, 2014. So Jaitley ji had this one friend who is also friends with my father-in-law, common friend. So Jaitley ji used to tell all the plans to his friend. His friend used to tell this to my father-in-law क्योंकि common friend है. वो ऐसे बोलते हैं दोस्त दोस्त बैठे बैठे फ्री टाइम में कुछ है नहीं बात करने के लिए. एंड माय फादर इन लॉ यूज टू टेल मी everything because no one listens to him, so he shares everything with me. जेटली जी से पास ऑन होके आया मैसेज, मतलब 4 people are involved in the communication. जेटली जी told a friend, friend told father-in-law told me, and I am telling you. तो बीच में वो चाइनीज विस्पर्स होता है, थोड़ा सा ट्विस्ट हो सकता है इन द स्टेटमेंट, बट जेटली जी टोल्ड कि आई विल ब्रिंग अ सिस्टम इन इंडिया दैट इफ एन इंडियन is going to a foreign country, sitting at a restaurant and making payment of $10 for a coffee, the moment you swipe your card, ting, notification will come to government of India, real time, live. ऐसा नहीं है कि full year will get over, then that government will collect data from restaurants, then submit a file to Indian government, then we will investigate. अरे तब तक इधर time limit of sending notice will go up. We will do this real time, live. जैसे you put your mobile data or Wi-Fi on, ting 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 start होता है ना, रियल टाइम लाइव नोटिफिकेशन. क्या बकवास करेंगे, कुछ भी बोलते. 2014 में इट साउंडेड बकवास. फर्स्ट इंडिया का डिजिटल सिस्टम 2016 ऑनवर्ड चेंज हुआ आफ्टर जियो एंड सस्ता इंटरनेट, एंड नाउ इट इज वेरी मच पॉसिबल बिकॉज प्रोसेस टेक्स टाइम. पहले क्या किया, फर्स्ट मोदी जी वेंट टू ऑल द कंट्रीज, फ्रेंडशिप करके बोला इंडियंस का ट्रांजेक्शन हुआ है तो गिव अस पासपोर्ट नंबर. एंड बैक होम व्हाट डिड ही डू, all those who have already taken passports, as and when they come to renew, we will link it with your Aadhaar. आप जाके चेक करना, every time your passport renewal comes, now they don't ask for too many documents. One Aadhaar card can solve every problem. I have seen friends who apply for passport and next day passport is coming. Only one document, Aadhaar card. Some cases में police verification etc. even today is taking place, but most cases में only Aadhaar card. अब problem क्या है, somebody already has passport. At that time आधार के साथ में लिंक नहीं हुआ, तो we will wait for all the renewals and this full process will take 10 years because passport renewal comes in 10 years. Parallelly they also did one more thing. बोलो क्या? Every Aadhaar will be linked with PAN. Every PAN will be linked with Aadhaar. आप chronology समझिए. Passport, Aadhaar, PAN, income tax records. प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो गया. एट दैट टाइम वी फाउंड इट फनी, बट जैसे जैसे पासपोर्ट रिन्यूअल्स आर कमिंग वैसे वैसे गवर्नमेंट नाउ हैज ऑल द रियल टाइम डेटा. बट दैट इज पॉसिबल ओनली इफ दैट गवर्नमेंट इज कोऑपरेटिंग, ओनली इफ देयर इज अ ट्रीटी, एंड इन दैट ट्रीटी वी विल राइट अबाउट एक्सचेंज ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन एंड असिस्टेंस इन टैक्स कलेक्शन. सो व्हाइल इंडिविजुअल कैलकुलेशन ऑफ एवरी ट्रीटी विल बी डिफरेंट, बट क्या ब्रो, एवरी ट्रीटी विल हैव some common points, and bilateral relief mein we have to learn those common points. Calculation may be different, but will every treaty have some relief? Hello, calculation may be different, but will every treaty have some exchange of information between the two governments? Pakka? So you are understanding what we are learning under bilateral relief? ठीक है, short break लेंगे 5 minutes का, चलो let's go ahead. As understood, while bilateral relief as a concept may not be in your syllabus for calculation of relief, but the calculation is the only thing which is not in the syllabus. Otherwise bilateral relief से related जितना भी common points are given anywhere in the entire act, all of them you have to be studying. For example, next point, मतलब ये point F, मतलब this is going on under which heading, वो तो clear है ना. Bilateral relief का general points, because individual treaties are not in our syllabus. मित्रों, hello, हाँ, we can now have agreement with non-sovereign territories too. Also, there can be agreement between two specified associations. Oh, copycats, बोलू? यशस्वी 3 साल से फर्स्ट बेंच पे बैठे बैठे कॉपी करने के अलावा दूसरा कुछ प्रोग्रेस किया लाइफ में? अभी बोलू? हो गया? नहीं, अभी बोलू मैं, इफ आई हैव योर परमिशन. सुनो, usually most countries are governed by a government, but there are some countries which may not have a government, they may still be under kingdom rule. नहीं, ये पता है ना, not all countries are democracies bro. तो we give our government the freedom to do treaties with such governments also. आपने इस जगह का नाम सुना है क्या? If you are being so surprised, you've heard about this? There is a place called Brunei. This country का owner is, we call him the Sultan of Brunei. You've not heard about him? Anyone? अभी yes तो everyone said, अभी सब लोग पढ़ना. बोलो ना, whatever you know. नहीं? उधर क्या होता है? नहीं, he is famous for being the richest man on the planet. आपको लगेगा कि नहीं, वो तो सर इलॉन मस्क है. इलॉन मस्क से ज्यादा पैसा सम पॉलिटिशियंस ऑफ महाराष्ट्र है. Why do you even make me say that? Okay, research about him. Some countries are still governed by kingdom rule. We give our government the permission, the freedom. देखो, if act says, then only government can execute a treaty. No, तो act में we are granting that permission. And this is that part which has got nothing to do with tax. इसका तो tax से कोई connection ही नहीं है. This is basically ICAI having a tie-up with UKCMA. या ICAI having a tie-up with AICPA, which a specified association can have with another specified association. It can be Mumbai police having an agreement with Scotland police. Hello? It has got nothing to do with tax, but basically we are talking about cooperation worldwide, so we are providing for that also. ऐसा treaties can be entered which don't have tax related effect, but we can still cooperate with each other. Recent India UK, for example, free trade agreement does not have tax related thing. It is basically India ka some people will go there, they will not apply those duties which otherwise are applicable. They will reduce the consumption wala taxes. Direct tax mein there is no income tax ka relief that is given in that free trade agreement. So suno, agreements are not done only for relief. We want to maintain good and cordial relations with different countries. Every time you deal with a Guju businessman, no, that Guju businessman will often be heard saying, साहेब धंधो थाय के ना थाय संबंध महत्व ना छे. Don't worry, I will translate. Chill. Whether we do business with each other or no, relationship is more important. He is lying. वो झूठ बोल रहा है. Relationship is not important. उसको पैसा चाहिए. But when it comes to two countries, मित्रों, we need to maintain good relations in times of need. आपको पता है रशिया यूक्रेन वॉर में इंडिया ऑलवेज स्टेड न्यूट्रल. क्यों? वी कांट गो अगेंस्ट रशिया बिकॉज व्हेनेवर इंडिया वाज इन ट्रबल इन द पास्ट, मच बिफोर यू गाइस वर इवन बोर्न, रशिया हैज ऑलवेज कम टू इंडियाज रेस्क्यू व्हेनेवर. एंड इन टाइम्स ऑफ नीड इंडिया स्टार्टेड बाइंग चीपर ऑयल फ्रॉम रशिया. आपको पता है ये सब? अवर एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर वाज आस्क्ड बाय अ न्यूज जर्नलिस्ट कि व्हाई आर यू बाइंग ऑयल फ्रॉम रशिया? Whole world is imposing sanctions. Why are you buying? He said, हमको सस्ता मिलता है, तेरा काम कर. Our relations are good. तो उससे क्या, आपको क्या लेना देना? We need to maintain such relations. And agreements are done not just for tax purposes. Agreements are done for these other factors also. ये समझा? Next. Point G of bilateral relief. General points about bilateral relief because specific clauses of agreement are not a part of our syllabus. ये समझ में आ रहा है? The provisions of DTAA are optional. The provisions of DTAA are optional. क्या? ओके, सिंपल लैंग्वेज में बोलता हूं. Therefore, you can pay tax as per act or as per DTAA, whichever is beneficial. If I go by the exact words written in the section 159, पहले it was in 90, now it is written in 159. Exact words बोल रहा हूं. If the normal provisions of Income Tax Act are found to be more beneficial, the assessee can adopt the normal provisions of Income Tax Act to that extent. मतलब taking DTAA is not compulsory. देखो special rate of tax is compulsory क्या optional? Even in new regime it is compulsory, but DTAA is not compulsory. DTAA will always be optional. Whenever something is an option, so no. If you have an option to pay two different tax amounts, which one will you pay? Higher CSR partners in nation building? नहीं ना. Whichever is beneficial, मतलब whichever is lower ना. You can pay as per DTAA or as per act, whichever is beneficial. Everyone has understood the point. Optional मतलब whichever is beneficial. I have a very big doubt. Point I understood. I have some strong question against this point. I want to question this. I have something is not appearing to be correct here. Ask. You have a standard that you have laid down before me 3 years ago when you had no knowledge about anything. Now you can go upwards, downwards जाने का कोई question नहीं. You understood the point, all of you, whichever is beneficial, but you need to question this. You need to object to this. 70 से कम 70. अच्छा वो 70 30 40 नहीं. Ask the doubt again. अच्छा वैसे वही तो क्वेश्चन है. How can this be beneficial? DTAA starts only with these three words, double taxation avoidance. मतलब इसमें तो 100% कम. You mean to say basically this only कि DTAA will be always lower? No. ये क्या क्वेश्चन है? We are saying whichever is beneficial, but DTAA has been done only for benefit. तो वही beneficial होगा ना. How can act be beneficial? You understood this question? अभी प्रूफ करो. देखो एक्ट का टैक्स रेट रेंजेस फ्रॉम 0 to 30. अरे ओल्ड रेजिम देख लो, न्यू रेजिम देख लो. वी स्टार्ट विद बेसिक एग्जेम्पशन एंड ग्रेजुअली वी मूव टू 30. ऑब्वियसली फर्म्स में, कंपनीज में देयर इज नो बेसिक एग्जेम्पशन, तो डायरेक्टली फ्लैट रेट. बट वी हैव अ रेंज ऑफ टैक्स रेट्स. DTAA एट टाइम्स क्या करता है पता है? DTAA सेज सुनो, वैसे तो in my country the rate of tax is 30, but if you are suffering double tax, is that a problem or is that a genuine hardship? So we will reduce your tax rate and levy flat 5%. मतलब सपोजिंगली हीथ का फ्रांस में 2 करोड़ का इनकम है. नॉर्मली इंडिया में टैक्स रेट कितना है? 30%. बट बिकॉज ही इज सफरिंग टैक्स इन बोथ कंट्रीज, तो DTAA में लिखा है डोंट पे 30, पे ओनली 5. इज दैट अ रिलीफ? 30 को 5 बना रहे. आप समझे क्या? तो एग्जांपल 1, इफ माय इनकम, इफ हीथ का इनकम इन फ्रांस इज 2 करोड़, इनकम इधर लिखो. इफ द इनकम इज 2 करोड़, तो एक्ट के हिसाब से हीथ विल हैव कितना टैक्स, एंड DTAA के हिसाब से ही विल हैव ऑब्वियसली व्हिचएवर इज बेनिफिशियल. तो हीथ विल पे टैक्स एज पर DTAA. अग्री करते हो? यस. एंड दैट इज प्रिसाइसली द पॉइंट दैट यू गाइस आर ट्राइंग टू मेक. सर DTAA ही तो बेनिफिशियल होगा. नहीं ब्रो, इसने टेम्पररी जॉब किया ना. स्टोरी याद है? 10 डेज का फूड के लिए. व्हाट इफ द इनकम अर्न्ड इज ओनली 2 लाख? क्यों? बेसिक एग्जेम्पशन. दिस इज स्टिल फ्लैट. इधर कोई स्लैब्स थोड़ी है. दिस इज फ्लैट ऑफ वॉट एवर यू वांट. नाउ देन इज इट पॉसिबल दैट द एक्ट इज बेनिफिशियल? यही क्वेश्चन था ना. देखो पॉसिबिलिटी इज रेयर. एंड एक बात बताओ, लिसन इट कैन हैपन ओनली विद इंडिविजुअल HUF. Digest, sync, then only I will go ahead. This is possible only for individual HUF because they are the only people who have basic exemption or slabs. Company firms में it will never be the case where act is beneficial. Company firms में this point G is not applicable only because DTAA will always be beneficial. But an individual whose total income is below basic exemption limit, there will be a possibility that normal income tax rate is more beneficial compared to DTW. Can we pay that? Yes. Is the point, the doubt about the point and the answer of that doubt, everything clear? Act कैसे beneficial हो सकता है का answer confirm, no problem. Rarest of rare, लेकिन not impossible. Shall we go ahead? We are doing common points applicable to bilateral treaties, correct? Because individual treaties का calculation not in our syllabus. Every treaty will have something called a non-discrimination clause. Every treaty will have something called a non-discrimination clause. सर ये क्या होता है? It's a promise that your people का tax in our country will not be our people का tax. समझा नहीं सर? Let us take example of two countries doing treaty with each other. Let's start with our original example, India and France. India doing treaty with France. That means people from France will come to India and be eligible for relief. Indians will go to France and be eligible for relief. So both India and France are promising each other. So no, me India, you France, me India, you France. Hi France. Hi France. I promise that if your people come here, their tax will not be higher than Indians. We will not discriminate against your people. Bro, you also have to do the same. Matlab, if Indians come to France, the tax rate that you apply on Indians cannot be more than your people. We will not discriminate against your people compared to our people. Now read the heading. Non-discrimination clause. Ya fir, if you are still not comfortable, let us make this also easy. This means tax of non-resident. Indian context में वो France का people will not be higher than tax of resident. Tax of non-residents will not be higher than tax of residents. ये point समझा? That means we will not tax your people more than our people. We will not discriminate against your people. Non-discrimination clause का meaning understood? And this will come with an exception. If you are a corporate assessee को non-discrimination का benefit will not be allowed. सर मतलब if you are a foreign company, what is the tax rate of foreign companies in India? 35%, which is greater than the tax that we apply on domestic companies. 30, sometimes it can be 25, 2 years ago ka turnover. Now this is why you need to know tax rates before you start anything. Sometimes, bro, don't tell me you don't know this, don't disappoint me. ये पता है? Of course they will be subjected to surcharge and cess, but is foreign company का tax rate still higher? ये allowed है. मतलब promise क्या है? We will not discriminate against your people except companies. Companies के against we will discriminate. पहले से बोलो. Non-discrimination का benefit will be available only to non-corporate assessees. Companies के against discrimination will take place. We tell you this in advance. समझा? What is non-discrimination? We will not tax your people more than our people except companies. Companies को we will leave, in which we are living also. Can a foreign company claim the benefit of non-discrimination? No. अभी clear हुआ? Point very easy. चलो, let's go ahead. General points about bilateral treaties because specific calculation is not in our syllabus. Everyone is with me?
Point of discussion होगा.
Good that you have raised this. हम लोग डिस्कस कर रहे फीचर्स, करेक्ट है? फीचर्स के अंदर यू विल गेट टू सी दिस. एंड इंडिया का 120 ट्रीटीज है. लिसन ना, if you multiply by the number of treaties, America will also have similar maybe 200 treaties. Every country will have treaty with every other country. So अगर वो permutation करने बैठोगे तो you understand वो n factorial r factorial how many total treaties in the world. इंडिया की 120 treaties का content is different, तो obviously दूसरी countries का content is bound to be different. मतलब there is a treaty between Australia and New Zealand. We don't even know what must be or what will be written in that. ये correct है, लेकिन सुनो, because you brought it up, I'm telling you this. Otherwise, this is in some another chapter. We have a chapter called Overview of Model Tax Conventions. एक chapter है वो, you know, 4 chapters I said module में से करेंगे. One is Black Money Act, one is this chapter. I'm speaking about this. This will help you to understand. What is his doubt? My answer was, whenever you want to start a new treaty, first you express the willingness. For example, Modi ji goes and tell Miloni ji, let's have treaty. Let's have cooperation with each other. She is also interested. See, expression of interest is one thing. हाँ करना है, but where to start? You know, all the audits that you have done in office, you basically first copied last year का folder. You changed the year, you changed the folder name, double click करके file open करके ऊपर जो year ended this को वो एक year आपने आगे बढ़ाया. Then you went and checked the Excel sheet. Whichever data is manually entered, you've removed it, and whichever is the formula, you just let it remain as it is. So that we just do this here. You are doing data entry basically. Provision for tax, deferred tax, last year, current year. Oh, you're just giving links equal to control page up, control page down. In fact, you take more time in doing format, page break preview, drag करके control P, zoom in, zoom out. कुछ line तो the time taken to format and print an audit report is more than the audit itself. Correct? Q audit is not taking so much time because we already have a ready-made format. You know, one wonders, sir, इतना बड़ा new income tax act, how have you made the full 536 sections? How have section से related rule से related form? How have you made your full study material is ready? हाँ, वो देखो proofreading कर रहा हूँ. I am not claiming that after so much of proofreading that still may not be, there can be because full book is new. Sir, इतना जल्दी कैसे manage किया? Because my format was ready, heading was ready, DTSS, section numbers, if some section has some change, I had to read and make those changes. इसलिए there are 2 international organizations. One, there is an organization called OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. There is another one more famous, United Nations, UN. They have created, listen to this carefully, something called a Model Tax Convention. Model मतलब format है, वर्ड का फाइल है. टैक्स ट्रीटी बिटवीन डैश एंड डैश. क्लॉज नंबर 1, क्लॉज नंबर 2, क्लॉज नंबर 3, क्लॉज सम 25 या 26 नॉन डिस्क्रिमिनेशन. वेरेवर कंट्री का नेम इज देयर, उसको ब्लैंक छोड़ा. नाउ इंडिया एंड इटली हैड एक्सप्रेशन डिजायरस ऑफ डूइंग अ ट्रीटी. इंडिया इटली सेट अक्रॉस अ टेबल, ट्रीटी करना है, बोला हाँ डन. लेकिन इफ वी स्टार्ट अ न्यू वर्ड फाइल तो क्या होगा? कंप्यूटर खोल के राइट क्लिक, न्यू वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट, फिर डबल वो F2 दबा के रीनेम इंडिया इटली ट्रीटी, फिर डबल क्लिक करके डॉक्यूमेंट विल ओपन. देन वी हैव टू डिसाइड टाइम्स न्यू रोमन के एरियल फॉन्ट साइज, हेडिंग का 14, टेक्स्ट का 12, लेफ्ट अलाइन, राइट अलाइन, सेंटर अलाइन. सर इसमें ज्यादा टाइम लगेगा. एक काम करो, पिकअप द रेडीमेड ट्रीटी फ्रॉम UN या OECD, वर्ड का फाइल है. You can edit it, fill in the blanks में write country का name, wherever fill in the blanks write both countries का name, control S, treaty ready, ready-made format है. Can the 2 governments pick up the ready-made format as it is? Yes, lot of countries have done this. इसलिए you will find कि India Nepal agreement and Australia New Zealand agreement are looking fully similar because they have adopted the model. Can they adopt the model and make some changes? Yes, because they are not legally binding. You want the format, it is there, नहीं तो खुद का बनाओ. And can they have full new agreement altogether? Most countries do not prefer to have full new agreement altogether because the time consumed is very much high. उतना time they don't want to give. They pick up models, model का text they see. Most of them do fill in the blanks and just finish it off. Some countries make some changes. But this point, most countries have not touched. मतलब मॉडल उठा के as it is they have reproduced the non-discrimination clause. Having said that, if India and Italy want to discriminate, can they remove this clause from the treaty? Because the model is not legally binding. But none of them have one. And India का treaties are based on the UN model. उसका reason क्या है that we will discuss in that chapter. क्योंकि this model is adopted by both developed countries. So if both countries are developed, then only OECD model can work. And दूसरी country का पता नहीं, लेकिन India नहीं है. So when one of them is a developing country, because we have ego issues, we don't call ourselves underdeveloped. तो अगर developing है, तो UN model में non discrimination है, and India के सब treaties में you will see the non discrimination clause, which is why we are learning it as a come on bro, general point. आपको ये समझ में आया क्या? Hello, is that clear? चलिए, let's go ahead. Next point, ये non discrimination का clause, but discrimination against companies will be allowed. Everyone is clear? Point number I about general points of bilateral relief. Next, if DTAA credit or relief is claimed by a non-resident, in a rarest of rare case, if you have such a client, you probably must have worked on it, और नहीं किया है, which is most of you all, don't worry. Point understand करना is very easy. India में, let's start with this fact. This is important to understand. In India, you are non-resident. देखो इंडिया में non-resident है, मतलब do you realize India therefore will be your country of source. That means where are you a resident? Maybe say country X. There is treaty between India and country X. As per the treaty, which country you will pay tax and which country you will not pay tax, that will be written in the treaty, no? As per treaty, you have to pay tax in home country. मतलब this point I is applicable only in those treaties where tax will go to home country. Which is the home country in our example? Therefore, tax has to be paid in country X. And are you clear that therefore there will be no tax in India? Why? Not because India is keen on giving you relief, but India has done a treaty. And once you do a treaty, you have to honor it. पहले be clear, ये point I applicable only if as per treaty home country will get tax. If as per treaty source country gets tax, this point is not applicable. Second part of this story is that India is your source country. Because if India is your home country, so India mein you have to pay tax. Then you can't claim relief. Because as per treaty, this is the country of tax. So two things you have to be very clear. Thing number one, as per treaty, which country will take tax? Home. And in our story, India is not your home. India is the case of source. India is the host country. The question is, after these details, will you be paying tax in India? No, because as per treaty, you are eligible for relief. India will not take tax because country X will get tax. Because you have become a resident of country X. Country X will take tax. As per treaty, home country will get tax. You are resident of country X will take tax. Therefore, India will not take tax. ये story है. तो इंडिया में are you supposed to pay tax? Are you supposed to pay tax India में? नहीं, because you've already paid tax in country X, and as per the treaty, only home country will get tax. India source country. India is supposed to honor the treaty, but we live in a country called India. In our country, no one wants to learn the law as a state. Everyone wants to do this. Sir, अगर मैंने ऐसे करके किया, तो I will escape this. मजा आ जाएगा. We live in a country with lots and lots of smart people. If they channelize their intelligence in the right direction, India can be biggest superpower, bigger than any other country. So what did some of these Indians do? India में they stayed for less than the number of days required and became a non-resident. The moment you become non-resident, as per this story, India can't take tax because tax will go to country of resident. But this relief is on the understanding that country X may you are paying tax. This smart guy has adjusted his number of days in such a way that he is not crossing the residential status ka criteria in any country. Matlab he is non-resident everywhere. They are modifying their number of days in such a manner that India ka 182 है. Some other country can have 100 days. Some other country can have 90 days. You are making sure that किसी भी country में you don't cross that. So can I say you are non-resident everywhere? Perfect है. You understood what the assessee did? Now come back to the treaty. Treaty के हिसाब से which country will get tax? Home country. Country of resident. Residence. Which country? No. कोई भी नहीं. You know what is he coming and saying in India? Sir, इधर तो मैं non-resident. As per treaty, I will pay tax in that country. Bye. And there he is going and doing what? Same. Sir, I am a non-resident. देखो passport. I will pay tax in the country of residence. India maybe he is becoming non-resident. Country X maybe he is becoming non-resident. Every country is becoming non-resident. Double taxation आया था, relief आया था to save you from double taxation. He is not paying single also. He is not paying anywhere. आप समझा manipulation? Has India done the treaty? Yes. Genuine cases को do we want to give the relief? Yes. Only if a TRC, that is a tax. Seriously? किया है? तो मैं इतना टाइम क्यों बिगाड़ रहा था? You know this? वाह. Only if a tax residency certificate is obtained from your home country. I thought international tax क्या ही किया होगा ऑफिस में. वाह. नहीं अच्छा. I have understood that your clients are richer than mine. समझ गया. हाँ. So only if you obtain TRC, tax residency certificate. What is the significance? That country is giving a certificate that he has become resident here. He has paid tax here. Dear India, now as per treaty, don't take tax. As a proof कि सच में I have paid. नहीं तो what was otherwise the what were these assessees otherwise doing? Becoming non-resident everywhere, not paying tax anywhere. So this is a proof. This is evidence that you have paid tax so that you don't pay tax in India. This is compulsory. If you don't get a TRC, you will not be eligible for the relief. अरे आप समझा क्या? Everyone, TRC का meaning, TRC का concept. चलो, we have last couple of points. उसके बाद में bilateral relief will get over. Last couple of points remain. Okay. JNK last दो. सुनो. Dear assessing officers, please investigate before granting relief. The act is giving an instruction to the local assessing officers. देखो, assessees will claim DTAA relief in their returns. The case will come to assessing officer. Before granting the relief, we hereby bring a duty on the. This is duty on the assessing officer. Assessee का इसमें क्या लेना देना है? Sir, you won't get relief before assessing officer is doing this step. So even if you claim, खाली claim करने से you won't get DTAA relief. No relief will be given in case of benefits taken by residents of third countries. This is again very famously in international tax language known as misuse prevention. Some agar you are actually working in international tax and presently surprised to know that you are actually working. Some offices may you must have come across a term called treaty abuse, treaty shopping arrangements, misuse prevention. They all mean same. You can write treaty abuse, treaty shopping या misuse prevention. ये सब का meaning same है. And for those who are not working in international tax, you know, ऐसा कभी मत सोचना क्या होगा, sir everyone else is working तो मैं तो पीछे. Don't worry, it's okay. First become a CA. Everything is available to you. And at least for exam purposes, I will discuss everything without assuming that you know it. तो सुनो, for those who don't know about this, supposingly there is a treaty between India and Germany. Will Indians get benefit? सोच क्या रहे हो? आंसर करो. So I go ahead. Will Indians get benefit? Yes. Will Germans get benefit? Yes. And India Germany treaty का Australians will get benefit. क्या बोल रहे हैं? What a stupid question I am asking you. Will Germans and Indians get benefit? ये stupid नहीं है. Will Australians get benefit of India Germany treaty? नहीं. पक्का? ये भी क्या क्वेश्चन है? फैंटास्टिक. अभी सुनो. Supposingly, Aditi, Australian. Will you get benefit of this treaty? नहीं. You are doing business with someone in Germany. That means Australian doing business in Germany. Will you get benefit of India Germany treaty? नहीं. You want the benefit. Australians are born cheaters in terms of everything. So this Australian does what? This Australian is putting on herself a mask, showing herself by putting this mask, showing herself as an Indian. ऐसे रास्ते पे स्पिट करके नहीं, ऐसे नहीं. कैसे? कैसे? सुनो सुनो सुनो. She comes to India. Don't come to Mumbai. Go to a very very rural village. No mobile network. Property is available at 2 rupees per square feet rent. Take 100 square feet का office at monthly rental of rupees 200. What is your monthly rental? 200. Do leave and license agreement, rent का agreement of that office. Take keys of that office. Lock that office. Go back to Australia. I think you've guessed it. Now, Aditi is telling everyone, I am Indian. I have office in India. And this Australian, this cheater is doing what? Coming and taking treaty benefit between India and Germany. Doing business with Germany from Australia, but taking benefit of India-Germany treaty by taking this office on rent and keeping it locked. Because physically no one can come and verify regularly at least. One day they will come, so you be present over there. We will not allow the benefit where third countries का residents are doing misuse, treaty abuse, treaty shopping. ये जो 200 rupees per month है ना, ये shopping charges है. 200 rupees per month की shopping charges में you try to become eligible for India Germany treaty. India Germany की treaty का benefit Australians को नहीं मिलेगा. Dear assessing officer, the law hereby instructs you before you grant relief to anybody under bilateral treaty. If that person is claiming to be resident of one of the two countries, investigate करके सच में है क्या? Someone only claiming to be resident of India and Germany cannot be eligible just by claiming. You need to ensure that सच में Indian या Germany है, Indian या German है. Then only grant treaty benefit. Otherwise, you will not be granting any treaty benefit. ये समझा? Everyone? पक्का? And this brings us to the last and final point. Under bilateral relief. Bilateral relief में is the calculation going to change treaty by treaty? Yes. Is the individual calculation of relief in our syllabus? No. So we will have to go and check the individual treaty. For that, usually you will find two methods of bilateral relief. Last point. Bilateral relief can be granted in one of these two ways. One of the methods of granting bilateral relief is called tax credit method, and second method is called tax exemption method. Every treaty that you find across the globe, now because he brought up this point, I also told you about model tax convention. Sample taken and sample mein we have written our names. Otherwise you go and examine actual treaty. Is the calculation different? But one of these two methods you will find of calculation. Either the treaty will be based on a method called tax credit method, or the treaty will be based on a method called tax exemption method. Difference क्या है? Under tax credit method, both governments will charge a tax. मतलब will India charge a tax? Yes. Will France also charge tax? Oh, हित का story याद है ना? Yes. But one will give you credit of the tax that you paid in other. And that is why, because we are giving credit, it is called tax credit method. Will India take tax? Yes. Will France take tax? Yes. But one of them will give you credit of the tax that you have paid in India. Example से हित का स्टोरी याद है? Income in France rupees 100, tax in India 30, tax in France 40, total 70 को reduce करना है. How will tax credit method work? Example 1, supposingly France gives credit. So what do you have to do? Do you realize India में you have to pay your full liability? Full मतलब कितना? 30. France में what is your liability? 40. Will France also take tax? Yes, because tax credit method में both governments take tax. But France will give you credit of the tax that you have paid in India, and effectively they will take only 10. Are both governments taking tax? But is one giving you credit, which effectively is reducing your 70? So purpose is solved. ये है tax credit method. Both governments take tax. Read the sentence. Both governments take tax, but one will give you credit. ये example में समझ में आ रहा है? Hello? But then there is another possibility. क्या sir? For your better understanding, this time you participate. If India is giving credit, which tax you will have to fully pay? France. France का कितना tax you will have to fully pay? 40. But is India giving you credit? तो India में what is your tax? But you are eligible for credit. ये पागल लोग. Now don't take 40 का credit and tell Indian assessing officer तू मेरे को 10 दे. नहीं. Obviously, maximum credit will be 30. India is giving credit of 30. India will say maximum don't pay whatever is supposed to pay over here, and finally take 0. Both governments are taking tax, but one is giving you credit of the tax that you paid in the other. ये है tax credit method. I am asking you a very intelligent question. Last few minutes of the class remaining. Whatever and jitna fast you and bilateral relief का maximum questions come from this method only. Okay? So please focus and jaldi answer करो. The faster you answer, the earlier I leave. I have taken first example in which France is giving credit. Second example में India is giving credit. दोनों केस में how your liability will be calculated वो समझो. But these are examples. Actual real life में if you are Heath, supposingly you are Heath, तो who will give credit? India के France. ये तो example है. France gives credit to first point. India gives credit to second point. These are examples. Actual में what will happen? India, wrong answer. तो बोलो France, वो भी wrong answer. Whichever is higher, wrong answer. If I give you the answer, you will laugh at yourself. जो smaller होएगा वो wrong answer. Tuesday, Saturday नहीं, wrong answer. As per what is written in the treaty, if treaty says home country to home country, if treaty says host country to host country, every DTAA is different. It can be this or this. Actual तो we don't have to learn, no. Actual will be written in the treaty. आप समझे? We are learning general points. It will be one of them. लेकिन exactly क्या होगा that we don't have to study. अभी समझा? चलो, very quickly. It's a very easy method. Very, very easy. Name itself is self-explanatory. One government will charge, and what will the other do? Will fully exempt. Fully exempt मतलब other government will not take any tax. Complete waiver. Tax exemption method में क्या होगा? You just pay in one, forget the other. चलो. Supposingly France exempts. So what do you have to do? Pay 30 in India, story is over. You will give me the full answer of the second point. Second example you will give me. You have to give me. बोलो second example क्या है? Supposingly India exempts. अभी go and pay 40 in France. Story over. एक जगह पे भरना है, दूसरी जगह पे नहीं. One country will take, other will waive. Fully waive. Exemption method है ना, exemption. Don't pay anything. So both governments can take and one can give you credit. That is tax credit method. But when one will not take at all, that will be called tax exemption method. Stupid question. Stupid question. ये example है. France gives के India gives. We understood answers to both. But these are examples. Actual में very smart. Hey, sir देखा right answer. Very good. As per treaty. Correct. So which country will give credit? Yeah, which country will give exemption will depend on the treaty. Whatever is written in the treaty, it can be either tax credit or tax exemption. देखो, what are we supposed to know? All possibilities. Exact क्या होगा inside the treaty, not in our syllabus. Last question. Not very easy, but not very difficult question. ये possibilities है ना? We will follow tax credit method के tax exemption method. Because it will be one of them. I have given you explanation of both, but actual में what will we follow? Right? बोलो. As per the treaty. So credit method के exemption method as per the treaty. Which country will give credit or which country will give exemption as per the treaty? We are supposed to know all the possibilities. One of them will happen as per the treaty. We need to know all the concepts. Actual concept के लिए go read the treaty. Today if any India US client comes or any India France का client comes, you will have to read the treaty. But treaty पढ़ने के बाद में you will understand everything because you studied all the concepts. समझा? That was bilateral relief. This was the last point of bilateral relief. Exam का questions come on this only. Unilateral obviously we will do tomorrow, but I have something very anybody carrying anda tomato in the bag ऐसा? You know whenever you don't like performances you ऐसे start hitting anda tomato. नहीं. अच्छा देखो अंडा you'll say कि sir I am vegetarian, टमाटर expensive है, why should we invest? Idea देता हूँ. You travel by train, no, तो you can carry those pointed stones ऐसे tracks पे उतर के. Carry some stones to class every day because sometimes you will have this urge. Hit it on the screen because what I am now going to tell you is going to irritate you like anything. कि question ये है कि sir अभी bilateral relief is over and DTAA का question comes in every exam. Not from bilateral relief. This never comes in exam. Bilateral relief exam में नहीं आता है. Because if they have to ask a question on bilateral relief, understand? This does not, whatever we have studied today now, concepts ठीक है, but exam का question नहीं. क्यों sir? Because supposingly they want to ask you a question on India-Malaysia agreement. They will first tell Mr. Heath, income in India, resident of Malaysia, etc., etc. Then they will have to give a paragraph. As per India-Malaysia agreement, ये rules है. Because actual treaty is not in syllabus. तो school में grammar में comprehension था. Where they give a paragraph and then ask questions and you have to read the paragraph and answer the question. वैसा question will come. But then at CA final level, there is no purpose of testing it. तो likelihood is 1 in 1000. Zero कर लो. Zero कर लो. Which means our 6 to 8 marks का गुस्सा तो आएगा सर, क्या तो बोलना चाहिए था ना. We would have left break में. सर ऐसे ही ऑफिस का बहाना देके, somebody is unwell का बहाना देके, we need a reason to leave. We would have gone. लेकिन this also brings me to a very important aspect. That means 6 to 8 marks का compulsory question, that rule is not changing. Will come from unilateral relief 7 o'clock sharp. समझ में आया? Tomorrow morning if you are 10 minutes late, you have lost 6 to 8 marks. समझा हार्दिक? हंस मत, मार खाएगा. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, please. Have a nice day.